Gonçalo, rega a mesa, ele come constantemente, é incrível. De manhã à noite nunca passa para apetite, é insaciável. É verdade, ele engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Ele engole e vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo segue o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor, está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo decide seguir o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor e está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Gonçalo, rega a mesa, ele come constantemente, é incrível. De manhã à noite nunca passa para apetite, é insaciável. É verdade, ele engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ogro sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Ele engole e vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo decide seguir o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor, está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo sem dúvida. Um dia ele vai ao médico porque não se sente bem. O médico diz que ele precisa mudar seus hábitos alimentares. Caso contrário, ele terá sérios problemas de saúde. Gonçalo decide seguir o conselho do médico. Ele começa a comer alimentos saudáveis e balanceados. Ele se sente muito melhor e está mais feliz do que nunca. Ele finalmente entendeu que precisava mudar seus hábitos. Gonçalo rega a mesa, ele come constantemente, é incrível. De manhã à noite nunca passa o apetite, é insaciável. É verdade, ele engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz. Ele não deixa nada no prato, ele é um verdadeiro ovo sem dúvida. A família dele está preocupada, mas ele não quer saber. Para ele comer é um verdadeiro prazer. Ele só pensa nisso de manhã à noite e ele não consegue parar, mesmo que seu estômago doa. Engole tortas, bolos, pizzas, massas, batatas fritas e toneladas de arroz.
Hi guys, welcome back to another live stream. Hope you had an amazing day. So today we're gonna be reacting to the harsh truth. Like always, every single week we do the harsh truth streams here.
Oh,
so welcome to the stream.
God!
I am here with Mr. Joao, as you can see, as you can hear, more like it. He is here.
Yeah.
I am here with Dark as well, but Dark decided to jerk off in a corner and never respond, never do nothing, so I don't know what the fuck he is. He's in the call, but he's not talking. He's not. I legit don't know. I don't know what the fuck what he's doing or where he is. Like he's here on the call, but he's not here physically to talk or like doing anything. So I do not physically know what the fuck he's actually fucking doing. He's just here to be here, pretty much, with his computer on. Pretty much that's it. But welcome to the stream. People might be wondering why the fuck I didn't stream yesterday. Simple, I had a family dinner. So the whole day I was with family, so didn't stream. I did post though. I didn't manage to post. I didn't manage to have time to post everywhere. So I did do that, but I didn't stream yesterday. I couldn't stream. But we're back to the normal schedule. Before we get into it, I'm gonna warn you guys. At the end of this week, I'm gonna go to vacation. So yeah, starting in this Friday or something like that, pretty much close to this week and I'm gonna take vacation. So I'm not gonna be here, be able to stream for you guys for quite a bit, quite a long time, unfortunately. It sucks because I really wanted to stream in Portugal as well, but I can't, unfortunately. That's going to be a future plan. Still, I'm going to be able to go to vacation and continue streaming for you guys. Just the casual content like Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, League of Legends, stuff like that. Just casual games and not like these special series like I do here, like Peak and Lord of the Fallen and stuff like that. But yeah, today, as we do every single beginning of the week, we do a talk about the harsh truth, where we talk about everything when it comes to the war and stuff like that. If there's new updates, the oil market, we're going to check it out and stuff like that. And today we might have a day where we talk about feminism and stuff like that, since I noticed that the war information and the war is kind of how can I say this? There's nothing new about it. The war already started again. Iran didn't go with a peace deal because Israel is still attacking Lebanon, and the main point for Iran to go with a peace deal, it's if Lebanon is not at a war anymore and there's peace between Israel and Lebanon. So, I mean, we all know this at this point. But we have to do these streams every single week to do a little update for everything. So yeah, let's go. So like always, don't forget to subscribe to Riyadh. Again, amazing person that knows how to extract the information, connect the dots, and not only connect the dots, show us the proof behind said connections, and the truth and nothing but the truth. So big up for him. And also his brother Myron Gaines, again, it's the same thing, just knows how to extract the information, connect the dots, and show us the proof that makes sense and that is the truth. So a big thank you for both of them. Don't forget to subscribe to both their channels. Again, amazing people that know the truth and nothing but the truth. And yeah, they're really good people. And yeah, here we go.
That out loud in the U.S., there's a provocative element to it. And I know that's not the intention, but I didn't think it was a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea for Muslims to do that. Because at the end of the day, if it's da'wah, I think da'wah is effective in an indirect manner as well, rather than having the adhan out loud. We have our countries where we do that, and in the United States, we can still practice our religion. If we need to leak out into the streets to pray, khalas, like no problem. But to play the adhan on a loudspeaker in a city in the U.S., to me, that's a little bit more dicey. I think culturally the country is Christian. I don't think in any legal way it's Christian whatsoever. A secular republic or whatever they would say, huh?
I think it's more secular. I think it's more atheist. Like, because if you look at it, like, what is America? We have the American flag first, the Israeli flag second. But like, do you ever see people holding up the Catholic flag, the Vatican flag? The third flag, what is it? It's the rainbow flag.
You're in line with what I said. I think the U.S. is culturally Christian. So like, when it benefits them, then it's the cross, then it's Christ. But otherwise, huh? It can be. Christians are not that religious. I mean, Christians don't really like uphold their faith to the fullest. Even look at.
Après tout.
Okay.
Hop.
He is speaking the truth. Christians are not that religious. It is true.
Adieu.
People might be mad at this, but I'm Christian myself. And I can tell you for a fact, when I look around other Christians, they only come when it's an important day. That's pretty much it. They really are not that Christian. So I do agree that most Christians aren't even Christians. They're not that religious. So I do agree, yeah, that is true. I can confirm it to you. Like it's very true. Unfortunately, like it's what we need the most right now, in my opinion, is believe in God, especially in these days, and what's going on and stuff like that. But hey, what can we do?
The United States, a majority, I believe, is Protestant, and then after that is Catholicism. Catholicism is supposed to be rigid, but I see Catholic people all the time doing things that are completely against their faith. So I think there's a cultural aspect that I'm not saying we need to respect and be careful, and like I'm not saying Muslims need to cuck themselves to appease to people who aren't Muslim, but we should try and straddle the line of being a little bit more appropriate in assimilation, in so that we don't cause more division.
Mais espèce d'enfoiré de merde, fais les tourelles.
Like everybody's already jumping on that, they're angry. But
it's the provocative aspect. I think the Times Square part was provocative.
Super good.
Do people in New York City or in America have a right to be mad at it? I don't think so. Because we still have freedom of religion. I don't think they have a right to be mad at it. But it was provocative, 100%. It's better, I'm pretty sure it's better in general if you're just praying the masjid instead, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a balanced position. I don't think it's a hot take. Praying in public, I'm not against in and of itself. When the situation calls for it. Me and Sneeko are walking around, yo, it's time for Asr, it's time for Maghrib. Okay, like, pray right there, 4 or 5 guys with us. That's not a problem. But like, to set up the whole Tarawih prayer in Times Square, I just thought was unnecessary. So that's all I was saying.
The other angle I saw of that though.
I mean, it's Sneaker. Look at Sneaker, bro. Look at Sneaker. That's funny. It's a funny face.
9/11 happened. Sneaker's just like. That's where 9/11 happened, right?
Yes, bro, it's funny shit. It's funny.
This is where 9/11 happened. Sneaker's just like. This is where 9/11 happened, right? There was so much Muslim hatred
Oh, that was too funny.
for so long.
I love
that
that.
It's kind of like a coming together moment. So I feel like, sure, I don't think it was to show dominance, but kind of to show that Muslims are.
Well, I didn't say that. Well, I didn't say that.
No, I'm not saying you said that. I'm just saying that was like a popular take.
I think it's wholehearted from Muslims. I think Muslims just really are excited to invite people to the religion. Wallahi, I think it's dawah. But I think sometimes that motivation can work against itself when you do things like that, like a public prayer in Times Square in Ramadan. And we know religiously it's better to pray in a masjid. We're going back in this again. Go ahead.
All the nations in the world are here. A lot of them are celebrating New York. The Norwegians were doing the woo, woo.
I saw.
True. That is true. That is true. Letting the Norwegians do their celebratory Viking who. That is true. If they're willing to do that, it's no problem. Praying Times Square would be no problem as well. That is true. I'm sorry, but it is true. I am with I'm with Sneaker right there as well. If they're willing to do that, what's the problem praying in the middle of fucking Times Square?
Yeah.
And so the complaint about praying in Times Square is that, oh, they're coming to assert dominance. They're going to show their culture.
Look, yeah.
The display of foreigners asserting dominance
The
in Times
reason-
Square. Let me make that point. The Norwegians came and they all did the rule. Rule. Yeah. Rule. Foreigners asserting their dominance and displaying their culture in the cultural hub of Times Square. Did you see anybody complain?
Yeah, nobody complained.
No, they didn't. But
They didn't say a word.
I see a little on my timeline too.
yeah, you can.
No one said a word of complaint.
You can say it's a double
Just
standard.
somebody.
The reason for that is obvious. It's because Norwegians are white, so they're not going to get mad.
So it has nothing to do with Islam. It's a racist.
Well, it's a cultural thing. Norwegian culture can be
Ça encore le
in
boss.
some way. It doesn't have anything to do with the United States. These people are European. They're white.
So then they have to concede it. It's
I'm not
gospel.
justifying it. I'm saying, why would they get mad? Obviously, when it's a bunch of brown Muslim.
Foreigners displaying their culture.
But
Vikings rowing has nothing to do with American culture.
Yeah, but they're not, because the people aren't. What I'm trying to tell you is if it's white people in a white country and another group of white people come to do some different white shit, as in like anything that's Scandinavian, Norwegian.
What is white?
Nigga, bro, you're chill out, dog shit, okay? Let's stop, please, thank you.
It's a skin color.
Jesus Christ, bro. I hate, bro. It's like, I hate this fucking algorithm. Just give you random ads, just randomly. Just like in the air. Just, hey, here you go, there's an ad. Even though you don't like it, we don't care, just, here you go. You literally know what we like, what we don't like. Why do you keep giving us dog shit? I don't understand. I'm never gonna understand.
But European culture has had its roots here in the United States. Maybe not Norway, but European people, just hang on. European people have a basis here. Turks are not really like European. That's a gray area. It's a gray area.
Turks aren't white, they're Asian.
Yeah. They're like a combination of several different things.
What if the Portuguese came and displayed their culture?
They're not really white either.
Why? They're European.
They're just, yeah, but just because they are in Europe does not always necessitate they're white. Why are you funneling down? Let me make the greater point about Times Square.
We need to define
Listen, we've already defined it. White can be separate from European, but it can also be the same thing in certain instances. But the nuance you're highlighting doesn't take away from what I'm telling you about the Times Square situation, which is if Norwegians are there, why would a white person who's from America get mad about a bunch of other white doing some other white versus brown people doing something that has never been in unison with what these white people have seen? I'm not saying their grievance is valid. I'm just telling you where they're coming from, because I can obviously see it.
Who's white?
True.
Who is white to you? What is white to you?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. There's no consistency.
What are you talking?
It's a made-up social.
He's white
Why is he white?
because he's European. He's Albanian.
So are Turks not? What about
No,
that?
it's not the same
Okay,
thing.
but Portuguese-
There's so much
So he's white
nuance.
European?
You're trying to like blanket over white,
clear
black.
definitions.
Okay, what am I?
You're Sudanese. You're Arab.
But am I black? Oh, there's nuance. There's nuance.
Okay, my position is I don't think it's important.
What is he, Asian or Arab?
I'm not black.
But he's technically Asian.
Ultimately, he's human and he's Muslim. That's my
Yeah.
point. The fixation on race is a meaningless conversation.
But race is an intrinsic characteristic that matters to people.
Right, but
You might not care about
white
race,
is a made-up
and I think caring about race too much is bad. But you're just never going to get that out of other people, especially when there's a racial identity within the country's history.
Define the white race.
Bro, white people are Europeans. White people are front-facingly
except
white,
Portuguese.
fair skin. Portuguese people, they don't speak English.
But they're European, and that was
Yeah, but if you want to speak on an extreme, what's the point of highlighting whether a Portuguese person is white or not? How about Spaniards?
Why are you talking about Hey, I'm Portuguese. I can confirm to you we're very, very white. We are very fucking white. The difference is we are very respectful. We don't do dumb shit like Norwegian do. Who? No, we don't do that. We don't do that. I can tell you for a fact. We might like have a bunch of people together, like cheering for our country and stuff like that. We do that shit. But we don't do like the who in the middle of Times Square. I can tell you for a fact. We don't do that shit. Now, I can tell you for a fact, guys, we are very fucking white. We are very white. I can tell you for a fact. We're very white. Now, there is Portuguese that are colored. Like, there's no problem with that. But I can tell you, Portugal, the country, we are very white. I can tell you for a fact, we're very fucking white. I'm one of them. I can tell you for a fact. We're very white.
Spain white?
It doesn't matter. That's my point.
You're making it matter because you keep asking me.
No. I'm making this because you're saying white people should be accepting, or this is why they're accepting of other white people. And they don't even know what white is.
But there's a familiarity. There is a familiarity. When they see their
Vikings
people,
are not familiar to America.
they're white though. And Vikings have a huge history in European history, or huge culture influence in European history.
Saying a word that you haven't defined.
Sneeko, you know what white is. You know what encompasses white. You know what encompasses European, Caucasian. It's all the same thing.
Are gypsies white?
North
They're
African.
indigenous to Europe. Why not?
They're North African. What are you talking about?
Okay, so they go from define white.
European. And look, I'm not gonna lie, bro.
They speak an Indo-European language.
They don't.
Am I being reasonable? Am I?
Okay, look, what I will say, I'll vouch for personal experience here. When I first came to this country, I came when I was 5 years old, right? And I had never seen a black person in my life before. The first black person I saw, my mom told me I started screaming. I was like, what the fuck? I was like scared. I don't know. I just hadn't seen a black person ever. And I think when I was like 6 or 7, around that time,
Brain rot.
it is true, even though I don't know these people, I wouldn't even speak the same language. If I did see a person that looked similar to me, that was like white-ish, I would feel safer. So I understand the familiarity aspect of what you're saying about the Norwegians. But white, you have to look at the roots of it. Like, look at where their tribes come from and look at the history. You have to kind of pinpoint every single country.
That is true. We are more comfortable and we feel a lot safer when there's other people that look like us. Like, imagine I'm a white person, I enter a room, there's a bunch of black people. People are gonna say, bro, that is racist. No, that's not racist, just seeing that you're the only odd one out makes you a bit uncomfortable. Seeing that you are the only one odd out. Now, it could be the same thing. If a Muslim enters a room with a bunch of black people, it's the same thing. Same thing as a black person entering a room with a bunch of white people. It's the same thing. Being that person that you're the alone and you're the only one like this, you're the only one that doesn't speak the same language or that doesn't have the same roots, it's uncomfortable and you don't feel as safe as you think. It's true. It is true. We feel a lot safer when we have people that look like us or speak the same language as us or we have the same heritage as us. For example, I'm Portuguese, I am with a Brazilian person. We might look differently because they're usually a lot more brown, I'd say. And when I say brown is bronzé, they have a little tan. But the fact that we speak the same language, we know how to communicate with each other. We feel safe when you communicate with each other. We feel safe because we understand, hey, he's like us, we have the same heritage, we have the, same language. Same thing as we speak with people of Cabo Verde, for example. Cabo Verde, there's a lot of people, the black people, but they speak Portuguese. So since they speak Portuguese, like we feel safe with them because they speak Portuguese, so we have the same heritage. That's how it works. That's how it works. You know, we feel safer when there's people that look like us, or there's people that speak like us, or there's people that have the same heritage as us. That's how we feel more safe and less, and I was about to say less, no, but more comfortable with. It's true, bro. That's why all the Latinos want to be with all the Latinos. That's why all the black people want to be with all the black people communities. It's where you feel more comfortable with, through your, like, what you look like, or what language you speak, or what religions you are part of, or what heritage you have in general. He is speaking the truth. He's speaking facts right there. He's speaking facts.
I'm just saying,
you can say, as of right now, Europeans, but like gypsies don't go into that. They all come from India. They're nomads.
you're adding like an unnecessary element of overcomplication.
Yeah, what is white?
If you've been thinking about getting Pocket, this is your last chance to save 45%. At the time.
No, thank you.
Who is white? So, are Portuguese white? No. Why not?
Based. W.
Yeah, mix.
He's right.
Okay. What about Slavs? Are Slavs white?
Yeah.
Obviously, Slavic people are
Obviously,
white. Yes.
A lot of them disagree.
No, I should.
Who?
So Muslim means you're not white? What did you say?
I said like Europe, like in Spain, they've been taken over by like Muslims for 700 years.
Yeah.
So they got mixed.
Okay.
It's like in Latin America,
Okay.
they've been mixed with the Spanish.
Yeah.
So that's why it's.
So what about Sicilians? Sicilians are mixed with
They're
others.
right there. They didn't make it that far.
Sicilians are on the cusp of not being white.
They took over 80%
They keep the
of
Italian
Spain.
culture. Because I think it's like, is every single person on earth going to get a DNA test?
Bro, I'm just saying, you know what white is. You know what white is.
Yeah. You know, we're not. I mean, we're white, but we're not the point of being white or doing dumb shit. Like, I mean, dumb shit. I'm saying is doing things in public. For example, Norwegia. Oh, and people in America, they're like, yeah, cool, why not? White people, like, we don't do that. We're not the people that actually end up doing that shit.
It looks white, but it has no clear definition. It doesn't mean European because we've already ruled out like half the countries in Europe. And it doesn't mean anything specific to a race. It's just.
Yeah, but bro, a lot of races and cultural identities, it's all convoluted and ambiguous. But what I'm saying is, so I've been telling you that, but there are establishing factors that you can use to discern as to whether somebody is white. Like, I look at this nigga right away, he's white, I can clock it. His hair, his features, he's pale.
You see how this is the same argument that a woman is what looks like a woman. It's the same argument.
No, bro. No,
It's the
sneak
same
up.
argument.
Sneak
The truth
up.
is, a woman is somebody who's biologically female.
Bro.
She has female parts.
Bro, there's two.
Yeah, there are.
You cannot be conflating people who are identitarianism or follow identitarianism. Let me finish. You can't conflate people who are tribalistic and hold their identity close to home with people who think that there's more than two, that they can mutilate themselves. And like, I don't think that's a fair. I understand why you're trying to make that comparison. It's the way God made it.
Okay.
And God also made different people from different tribes, and we know that from the Quran.
Okay, different tribes.
So that they may get to know each other, he says, by the way. So God is not against people intermixing and intermingling, and that's per even the earliest Islamic scholarship. Like, there's nothing wrong with, and the Prophet ﷺ, he said, there's no greater of an Arab over a black and a white over.
Define the two based off of your physical attributes, right? If you have a vagina, you're a woman. If you have a penis, you're a dude.
Yes.
Okay. You cannot.
And you can use
white and
physical.
black.
Yes. Are you crazy?
You haven't.
Are you crazy?
You still haven't.
Okay, so you
What's white guy?
can't use physical attributes to discern as to whether somebody's white or black.
You said if they look white.
Bro, look at our arms.
Okay.
Look at his hair, look at my hair.
If you're really
Look at my lips, look at his lips.
Okay.
There's features you can use to draw out the conclusion. The biggest one is your skin.
Where do you draw the line?
Usually it's skin is enough.
Okay, so if he was.
I'm a little racially ambiguous because I'm kind of Arab, kind of don't look super black, but super black.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I'm just black and I speak Arabic. Arabic is honestly a linguistic identity. It's not even really, but white is not. But white really isn't.
So define it.
Because Arabs span from Morocco, all of these guys over here that look different than him, and he's an actual Gulf Arab, he's Yemeni. I'm Sudani,
So define white.
so, but we look so different, yet we share the same culture and language.
Exactly.
If I go into his house and I meet his family, it's all the same like
Exactly.
customs.
How it should be.
But with white people, this is what I'm trying to tell you, there's different. This is why Arabic has these differences. It's linguistic. With white people, it is physical.
What is it?
It's physical.
It's physical.
They're features.
Okay. So when are you not white? Because I'm part white.
Eurocentric features. You never heard about the racist people who say, oh, the hottest people are white. They have
what if you're
Eurocentric
part
features.
Mexican?
That's
What
why
if
Clav
you're
always
mixed?
gets hate.
And what if you're mixed?
You're not white.
Then you're racially ambiguous.
So
If you're mixed, you're like literally nothing.
how mixed?
But then
What's the percentage?
it's hard for me to identify. Looking at you, I would say, okay, he's Asian.
Okay. What about somebody who's mixed with Mexican?
Okay, you're talking. He looks white. I know who you're talking about. He looks white.
Okay. You're saying he looks white. What is that?
He's white.
But he looks. What is that?
Bro, what is going on? You say he's what? What is that? Just people that are white? What do you mean? What is going on? I'm confused now.
He looks white. So to me,
what is that?
from his
You see
what
how-
did we use the establishing factors? His physical features.
Okay. But you're saying looks white. But
And he also acts white. Culturally, he comes off
I'm not
white.
even talking about anybody specific. I'm talking about people who are mixed, right? 'Cause
Okay.
That people who are mixed with Mexican or Asian.
Okay, so like say that I was like 25% Italian. I'd still be
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
black.
Why?
Look at me.
Do you see what you're saying? You're saying based off of social perception.
No, physical characteristics that are
But you're saying-
tangible.
you're saying this thing-
Physical characteristics that are
you're saying
tangible.
this is culturally defined.
And there's also a behavior element to all this as well.
But this is not defined by anything objective. It's social norms.
Yeah, but bro,
the same
not
argument.
everything in life is based on objectivity.
It should be.
Subjectivity plays a big. Subjectivity is a large reason why we're here right now.
Here's another tra-
You seem to have no problem because you're down with Mamdani.
If this could change, if a woman is somebody who looks like a woman,
Yeah,
and somebody who's white.
but that's different because that's biological. You're born with a dick or a vagina. You're born with a dick or a vagina.
You're born with your race.
You're born with your skin, yeah.
But you haven't said how much it is. Like how
I just told Sneeko, I don't think you're catching what I'm saying.
Is Obama white?
If I look at Obama's black.
In Africa, he's white.
No, he's not. What?
In Africa, a lot of people. call that
Obama's
guy white.
black
A
everywhere.
lot of people in Kenya will call that guy a white guy.
No, they wouldn't.
In Haiti, if you're Obama in Haiti, for example, they call it blanc. Blanc means white. If you are half white in Haiti, you're a white guy.
Okay, if he had told them that, maybe. But look, if I saw Obama and I didn't speak to him, I would say, that's a black person. And if I spoke to him, even if he told me he's half white, I'd say, you're still black. Because your skin is black.
What about Logic, the rapper?
He's white.
He's white?
To me, he seems white.
Why?
I don't know where he's from. He looks white because I'm using his physical characteristics to draw off that conclusion. As I told you earlier, is my basis for deciding race.
Do you guys hear what the point I'm trying to make? He keeps saying looks white. It looks like something that isn't even clearly defined.
But you can clearly define white, and I did it earlier. I just pointed out all his features. And I pointed out all his features.
Honestly, I think it's a historical thing. I think you have to look at the roots of everybody.
Anyways, what's the greater point you're trying to make?
That you're using the same argument that because if you say you got plastic surgery, why not? So if your features are what define you, if you get a rhinoplasty and you get skin bleaching and you become like this Michael Jackson white.
Oh, Michael Jackson's black because we know he's black.
Yeah,
we know he's
was,
black.
I was about to say he was black. He just had a condition.
You can try and bleach your skin and mess with your nose.
Imagine you just saw him on the street.
Well, Michael Jackson's like a one-off. He looks really weird. But if I saw him and I never knew, he's dead. I'm not gonna fry him. But if I saw him and I never knew he changed his skin, I'd go, that's a really weird-looking like white person. But what's the greater point you're trying to make?
So you define whiteness off of features. Michael Jackson's features.
More often than not, Sneeko, anybody in the world, when they see somebody, will immediately decide what race or ethnicity they are based on how they look.
Saying it's social norms. It's what's acceptable, not anything objective.
But there is objectivity, which is your DNA, which is your features.
Okay.
I could never achieve European hair because of my DNA. That's objective features that I can never shy away from.
So then what's the percentage you need to be called white? If
It's different for everybody. Some people can be half white and look very white. It just depends on their specific set of DNA and how that planned out. My brother looks way more Arab than me. So it's all nuanced. But I look way blacker. What is the point of this? Yes, I think all humans are one. I think the ummah is one. But I think there's distinction. I don't think there's any benefit in going,
I still haven't seen him define it. I still haven't seen him define it.
What's chat saying? Your chat hates me.
No, they're saying that I'm boring them. Nico chill.
What's the greater point?
2.6.
The overfixation on race is a distraction, divides us for no reason, and it's arbitrary, and nobody has even been consistent. It's just a new idea. Because for generations, the Europeans were at war with each other. Perfect example. You know who's a major demographic in the concentration camps? The Polish, the Slavs. The most famous white nationalist, white supremacist, he put the Slavs in concentration camps. He said these are not part of our DNA. He said Germans are the pure Aryans, and other Europeans are not allowed.
Yeah.
So based on that definition in the 30s, others weren't white.
Okay, that's his own definition from his extreme fascism ideology.
You're following the definition of today, so I'm saying
no, I'm not. You haven't even. I established my position. I said in the Quran. No, my criteria is the Quran because I'm Muslim. Allah said in the Quran, we made you from different tribes, i.e., we made you all look different, in so that you may get to know one another. So to me, that's how I go about my life. That's how I look at it. I don't have a problem with race mixing, but at the same time, I'm not going to demonize somebody for being a little bit more to their own people. By the way, he can speak to that because he's Albanian. I don't even need to ask him. I know he has family members that would not like if he went and married a black girl, dated a black girl, even if she was Muslim.
You would be cut off of that?
Albanians hate that shit, and they're Muslim.
So like we're good.
Albanians,
very nationalistic.
But we shouldn't always demonize that. Some people want to keep it home. Some people want to keep the bloodline the same. I don't think that should be demonized. When it becomes bigoted, then it's an issue. But I don't think there's bigotry inherently always instilled within people being idealist or like tribalistically centered. Like I don't think that's always an issue. Even if my mom said, Riyadh, I want you to marry a Sudani girl, preferably, like, I'd say, okay, like, I agree with that.
I think it is an issue. That's why nowadays when people get married, especially like people in New York.
To be honest, I want a Sudanese wife.
They make it very cultural, like the fixation of this. You see like all these weddings are like, oh, you need this much for meher, you need this way. This is how the nikah's done, you need a giant way. And all this is cultural. Adding too much tribalism and cultural aspects to what.
Yeah, but I want my kids to look like me though.
I mean,
you know?
all the stuff that you said, you looked at me, you already thought I knew. My reasoning for why I only want an Albanian wife and have pure Albanian kids is because we've been, like, there's been so many times that we've been on the brink of being taken out.
So what do you think about all this?
This is how the culture stemmed from then. It's like all the tribes.
That's not a debate, it's a discussion.
Have to come together. It's just how the history makes it. A lot of these conversations are a little futile, but
That was a good idea that I just thought. I'm gonna get a cup of water, okay? It's better. I'm gonna get that cup of water, that's for sure. I'm back in a second. You got a cup of water, bro? Cup of water. 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 Cup of water.
Features and behavior. It is what it is.
Now, me and Sneeko have good discussions. They're like, okay, would you marry a Yemeni girl? Or are you already married? I don't know.
No, I'm not married, but I feel like in this generation, bro. I feel like you would go. I feel like you would go for like
good one.
Nah,
No, I get it from the promiscuity angle, of course, but I'm saying from like a race, nationalistic, whatever. I'm sure that a lot of people in your family would not want you to even marry a girl in Palestine, probably Yemen only. It's adi, it's normal, bro. This is even Muslims fall victim to this, you know.
Actually, one of a scholar recommended like marrying within your own culture.
Yeah, this was back in the day. I know what you're talking about. I believe it was Sheikhul Islam ibn Taymiyyah. I believe he said something similar to that, or one of the early, or Ibn al-Qayyim.
Yeah, it's supposed to cause less fitna because it's like a culture.
Yeah.
It's easy for the families.
There's no clash of culture. Look, if I went and married an Albanian Muslim girl, that's cool, but like,
Then her brothers will want to kill you.
it's just, there's just gonna be tension, and it's like, you know, I'm just gonna marry my own.
It's like,
Sudani queen.
you wouldn't enjoy it. Like,
I wouldn't, actually, no, Sudan only, what?
I'm saying you wouldn't enjoy it. For example, if you said if you want to marry an Albanian Muslim, it's like you go to a family event and you see half her family.
Yeah, I also like don't want to stick out.
Exactly.
Like, that's another reason why I wouldn't marry an Albanian girl, just because, like, I would literally, like, bro, imagine me at an Albanian family event. Niggas would be like, yo, is he lost? Like, I don't want to be the token monkey, like, hey, look at him, you know? So I'd rather be with my own.
He do be speaking facts. I don't know, he do be speaking facts. We are a lot more comfortable with the people that look like us, who have the same heritage as us. Or who speak the same language, let's be honest. That is true.
Ukraine right now.
That's why, for example, Portuguese, Spanish, Brazilian, stuff like that, we kind of feel comfortable with each other because we come from kind of the same heritage. That's
because
why.
The situation is heating up real time. We can look at some videos of the major Russian attack about 4 days ago on Kiev, in which Russia launched out an all-out offensive, some of the worst that Kiev has seen in a really long time, to be honest. So this article here reads, Ukraine's capital city, Kiev, came under attack by Russian ballistic missiles early Monday morning. So let me go ahead and get this on for you guys right here.
Holy
Explosions
shit.
have been heard across the city center in the early hours as the combined attack, also involving drones and cruise missiles, continues. At least 3 people were wounded, and at least 2 districts in the city reported fires or damage from debris. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko, said in a statement on Telegram, people remain trapped in a multi-story residential building that was badly damaged in Podolsky district. Klitschko said, shortly before the explosions, air raid sirens were activated throughout the city. The attack came after Ukrainian President Zelensky warned Sunday that the intelligence indicated Russia was preparing a new massive strike. Last Thursday, Russia launched a ferocious attack on Kiev that killed at least 30 people in what was the 3rd deadliest assault on the Ukrainian capital since the start of the war. Russia's warned Ukraine will form the backdrop to the upcoming NATO summit, which starts on Tuesday in Ankara. Russian forces have stepped up efforts to make more of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region a key objective for the Kremlin, and Ukraine cities face near nightly attacks from Moscow's drones and missiles. Ukraine has also stepped up missile and drone attacks against key infrastructure deep in Russian territory in recent weeks, including oil refineries, ports, and military factories. On Sunday, Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke with Trump on a July 4th call lasting nearly 90 minutes, in which the U.S. leader again offered to help end the Ukraine war, according to Russia's foreign ministry. And this story was developing at the time it was written, although it may have been updated. So we can go ahead and watch this video and get some updates as to what's been happening. And then I could take you guys through a little bit more of the history from 2014 onwards and how we've gotten to where we are today.
A grim task.
This is what happened a few days ago. This was 4 days ago. And then I'll show you the Ukrainian response as well. But let's take a look at this very briefly.
Crews in Kyiv just hours after a new salvo of Russian strikes hit the city. Officials are saying that at least 13 people were killed and that more than 85 others were injured. And the damage, it has been reported at more than 30 locations across Ukraine's capital city. Right now it's mid-morning there and rescue crews are out in full force. Officials say that a number of residential buildings took direct hits. Right now, emergency crews there, they're going through the rubble, trying to recover the remains of the victims. President Volodymyr Zelensky, he had warned that there were indications that Russia was preparing for a massive strike. And it comes after a series of Ukrainian drone attacks deep inside Russia in recent weeks. Ivan Watson is following developments from Hong Kong and joins me live. Ivan, so what do we know about what led up to this? Our understanding was that Ukraine's president had intelligence that this was likely coming?
That's right. And Volodymyr Zelensky had, in fact, warned residents of Kyiv to heed the air raid sirens and to treat this seriously. So you actually had large numbers of residents who had taken to the subway stations that have served as air raid shelters for much of the last more than 4 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, that they had taken those precautions. And yet, despite that, the ferocity of this bombardment has claimed lives. The emergency workers, as we speak, are still digging through the rubble of buildings.
And just for some context, guys, this is in response to extreme Ukrainian aggression against Russian oil infrastructure that was happening for the latter part of June, especially from the 27th onwards to the 30th. Ukraine was hitting Russia very, very hard with some missiles and drones that destroyed critical and key sites for oil and gas and really just energy infrastructure overall, which is huge because Russia supplies the most gas to Europe, and they're the biggest producer of natural gas in the world, and they are the petrostate of Europe.
Trying to search for victims. According to the mayor of Kyiv, that's Vitaly Klitschko, he says at least 13 people have been killed, more than 80 people wounded. Among those missing is a 15-year-old girl and her family. The Russian Defense
Ryan, thank you for the gifted.
Ministry has claimed responsibility for this attack. They say that this was a, quote, massive strike using high-precision, long-range weapons, including drones, that not only targeted Kyiv, but also other regions of Ukraine, including Dnipropetrovsk, Poltava, Cherkasy, and Chernihiv, and that in Kyiv, that they were targeting things like factories that they claim were manufacturing parts for things like the Ukrainian Flamingo missiles, or storage facilities for drones, or industrial areas that were used to create parts for things like drones and missiles. The Ukrainian...
And in this offensive, Russia launched around 496 drones, allegedly. You know, and I know they're saying that, in like 70 or 80 missiles. That's huge.
Government is saying there were residential buildings that were suffered direct impacts and have contributed to the growing loss of life.
And for some reason, it took the United States a long time to start reporting on this. There was no mainstream coverage until like a couple days after, which was really weird. Like, I didn't see a lot of headlines on it. There was a delay.
As a result of this deadly night, at least 11 hours the bombardment continued. That's according to eyewitnesses. So a deadly night in what has been an escalating long-range aerial war between Ukraine and Russia that has escalated in just recent weeks, really, Polo.
So what's happening on the ground right now? Let's go live to Kyiv. We're joined by Peter Zalmayev. He's the director of Eurasia Democracy Initiative. Just bring us up to speed on the situation on the ground.
And so that was a few days ago, but now today, as a result of ongoing strikes against Russian oil infrastructure, it seems now that Russia's entering what seems to be, at least in certain provinces in the east and the west, a fuel crisis or an oil shortage. So let's take a look at what CNN has to say about it here.
Putin makes a statement with his barrage of deadly strikes.
Bear in mind, I know it's biased. It's CNN. They're pro-Ukraine. They're anti-Russian. But this seems to be the legitimate issue on the ground in Russia, at least for certain provinces, not all of it.
Strikes on Kyiv. The Russian leader is now facing trouble at home, as we hear from CNN's Claire Sebastian.
Two women screaming at each other over a spot in line at a...
Yeah, someone said in the chat, Russia only mainstream aggression for media on Russian aggression. Yeah, no, that's very true. There's always going to be a delay when Ukraine is getting hit really hard, or unless they can make Russia look bad. But when Ukraine seems to be having the upper hand, the news is like that. Like, it's like that. So
true, that is true. When Ukraine has the upper hand, the media immediately, bro, it's everywhere. It's very, very odd, isn't it?
I was like struggling to gather everything together because there were just so many gaps, and I had to go to like alternate news in Europe.
Gas station. Scenes like these are becoming more common as intensifying Ukrainian drone attacks have caused fuel shortages and panic buying. Well, CNN's analysis has found that at least 50 of Russia's regions, well over half, are now officially reporting supply problems. Unofficial reports coming from almost everywhere else. Lines outside gas stations forming from Moscow to Siberia. And here in the southern Krasnodar region, a video emerged showing two women berating a man for filling up a gas canister. Authorities have banned this in multiple regions to prevent.
So guys, they can't even ration gas. They can't even bring gas canisters and have some extra for the home.
Stockpiling. Well, other Russians are coping with humor, turning hours-long waits into makeshift tailgate parties, joking that the best place for a date night is waiting for a fuel tanker to arrive, and that Russia's most expensive perfume is now gasoline. Well, this is getting so much attention that even Putin had to address this, warning that Ukraine's attacks are not just about causing physical damage, but about what he called an information operation.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a
in order to, at minimum, create uncertainty for us, or even better, to lead to a schism in Russian society.
All this could add to Russia's economic pain. Higher fuel prices mean higher inflation. But there is no evidence yet that it's going to convince Putin to stop the war.
Let's focus in on Ukraine's mission, Ukraine's refinery-focused drone campaign. What does Ukraine achieve with this battlefield strategy?
Ukraine has surprisingly achieved quite a lot if we consider that Russia is the largest producer and exporter of oil. It has an enormous system of refining and transit from land and sea routes. So as a result of these sophisticated drone attacks, Ukraine has taken about 20% of oil refining capacity of Russia. And it's because the equipment to run these stations is expensive. It's not easy to repair, but also it comes from the West, where there are sanctions imposed to limit Russia's access to any equipment related to energy sector. So this consistent attack led to shortages in many Russian regions of fuel. We already see rationing of how much civilians can purchase. They can't have canisters to fill in to store home, but also this will impact the army first of all. And this is the goal. The gasoline that is used for armored vehicles and all kinds of vehicles, the production of it dropped 25%. So much this is the problem that for the first time, Russia will have to import some of it from sea. So it's in talk with Kazakhstan and India to actually repurchase India's processed Russian oil that it's refining back into Russia.
And so I guess I'll speak on this very quickly. This is the main concern that I'm starting to see is Ukraine is getting bold. Ukraine is getting very bold. Zelensky is getting very bold. He's got munitions and he's not.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that's true. He's upping the heat quite a bit. And he's getting to a point where Putin is going to say, you know what, fuck this. He's getting to a risky territory. Zelensky is getting close to a risky territory.
Hesitating to use them, and he is being quite provocative, not only targeting Moscow and Russia and military infrastructure, but now he's targeting economic infrastructure to upset the populace based over in Russia and have them ration on fuel and other goods that's going to keep the country running. So now it's turned into a situation where he's trying to pit the Russian people against their leader. How effective that is, it seems to be unclear because Western media is never going to be entirely honest, front-facingly at least, as to what the Russian people are entirely saying. However, the loose rhetoric and what I've heard through the grapevine, and really what I've seen through the grapevine, I haven't heard anything, I'm not intelligence, but what I've seen through the grapevine is that the Russian people are increasingly becoming more frustrated. And look, that is the nature of a conflict that has lasted 4 or almost 5 years at this point. The people are starting to grow frustrated with the fact that the economy is suffering as a result of this war, not as much as the West may paint it out to be, but Russia doesn't have the best economy in the world. I think their economy is just a little bit more developed and or strong than like Spain, for example. And so what Russia depends on heavily is their natural gas and all of their pipelines, in which the United States has done everything to undermine and even bomb at certain points in the past. And the situation in Russia is a difficult one to understand. A lot of people try to paint it as something that's clear, that Russia was just aggressive against Ukraine for no reason. And I suppose one could make that argument, but it really would fall flat on its face when you consider the fact that NATO was expanding eastwards.
Yeah, NATO touching shit you shouldn't have touched. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. NATO touching shit they shouldn't have fucking touched. That's why Putin's fucking pissed. You know, I understand Putin. I understand Putin. Like, if you enter my territory, why are you entering my territory? What are you doing? And the thing is, since he doesn't know what the fuck is going on, he's gonna defend his territory with the maximum of defense that he needs.
Treaty Organization, or NATO, has existed in much of Western Europe, and this really stems from the Cold War and the issue with the Soviet Union. A lot of Eastern Europe was the Soviet Union, and so Russia lost nearly half of its population after the Soviet Union had fell in '91. As a result of this, of course, concerns grew in the Kremlin, concerns grew with the Soviet Union, or now known as Russia, that the West would infiltrate more of Eastern Europe and project its power onto Russian borders. And as you go more east, the borders get wider and Europe gets wider. And so the biggest concern for Russia is not only defending or really keeping away Western influence in NATO as a whole and the EU, but keeping it to a narrow border so they don't have to defend against a really widespread across of land across those mountains in Europe. And the biggest thing that Putin has voiced for the last 15, 20 years is that Ukraine is a buffer zone that is non-negotiable. NATO, or really the United States, could never get their hands on Ukraine. And there was a leader in Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, who was a Russian-favored leader. He was Russian-backed, and so he was aligned with the Russian government. There was never really a concern from Kremlin in anything in regards to Crimea or Ukraine as a whole, because he always had their best interests in mind. Well, there were Euromaidan protests in late 2013 and 2014, and around February, that leader that was backed by Russia or aligned with Russia was overthrown. And we've seen this story many times before. This is kind of the strategy of U.S. regime change, is to remove an unfavorable leader by launching a revolt, a coup d'etat, CIA entanglement. However, they've done it in South America and the Middle East is the same way that they've done it in Eastern Europe.
They always done it
with Ukraine.
And
in doing that, the Ukrainian parliament installed this interim government that was far more in line with the West and NATO and the EU than it ever was with Russia. And Viktor Yanukovych was critical for Russia maintaining its power and creating a buffer zone within Crimea and Ukraine, because he denied any involvement or always negated involvement with the EU and never really accepted their power structure coming into Ukraine or any of their influence. And of course, that changed in 2014 when that regime was overthrown. And so now, as a result of that, you saw Russia right away after that overthrown leader of Viktor Yanukovych had invaded and formally annexed Crimea, and they already had some stations there, and so it wasn't hard for them to mobilize and take over the Crimean Peninsula. But they took over Crimea to kind of defend from that NATO expansion eastward, which had already taken over many of the Baltic states. You know, you had Albania joining in the mid-2000s. I think one of the Northern European countries that borders Russia, one of them is either Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, I can't remember right now, but the NATO influence was creeping eastward. And so for Russia, they had that fear that, again, the Soviet Union had fell in 1991 and a lot of their influence had diminished as a result, and the same thing was going to happen again. Another angle that a lot of people don't talk about is the oil or the energy angle. Obviously, the Black Sea, now as we know, is home to tons of natural gas reserves that Ukraine was looking to mobilize and or create energy development for themselves. And that would have been a big threat to Russia because of the fact that Russia produces 30 to 35% of the natural gas supply to Europe, a lot of it going to Germany, which is why Germany has one of the most stable economies, or really a product of that. Germany has a very stable economy and they work hand in hand with Russia, and that is one of Russia's biggest purchasers of their natural gas, being Germany. So you have all of these things existing. If Ukraine were able to get their hands on natural gas, what could they do with Europe, especially with entanglement with the EU and NATO? Sure. And again, this is not apologetic for Russia. I'm just giving you the rundown, kind of the long and short of it as to why they invaded in 2014 and annexed Crimea. And so that's another reason. Exxon and Mobil had started investing and creating energy infrastructure in 2013 and 2014 to start extracting and seizing this oil and benefiting from it. And of course, again, Russia's watching, they're waiting, and they're pretty much on the edge of their seat in readiness to annex the Crimean Peninsula or Crimea as a whole. And so they do that, they formally annex it, and now they have most of, if not all, control of the Donbass, which is the eastern province of Ukraine. That's going to be Donetsk, and that's going to be Luhansk, and then other regions as well. And that's where a lot of the fighting has been going on since 2014 till today, and it's been back and forth. Russia has seized lots of control, and at one point it seemed like they were going to take over all of Ukraine, but it kind of halted, and that's what I was saying earlier. It seems like an unstoppable force has met an immovable object, and It's important to remember Ukraine would have never been able to stand 10 toes and fight with Russia if it weren't for US support. Russia outsizes Ukraine in every single metric, literally, whether it's GDP, whether it's anything else with military infrastructure, military technology, manpower,
Ukraine
or just
was
soldiers
never
and
gonna
sheer
win.
drones on the ground or in the air. But it now has turned into a drone war rather than like a full boots on ground 2003 Iraq style of war, and that's just because of the way the world is moving and the way warfare is changing. But after 2014, of course, they go tit for tat, back and forth, and there's tensions within the Crimean Peninsula between Russia and Ukraine. But it all ultimately ended when the President Zelensky moved closer and closer and started flirting with the idea of incorporating Ukraine with NATO. And that's when Vladimir Putin said there will be a special military operation in Ukraine, aka a full-on military invasion, and he hit Kiev hard, as well as other provinces in eastern and western Ukraine, and completely toppled a lot of infrastructure in that country, and the war has been ongoing ever since. Now, that's kind of like a very brief rundown, but the 2014 angle is very important for you to understand as to how this all started and how the United States, as a lot of people argue, kind of exacerbated this issue in Eastern Europe because of the fact that we wanted to flex our influence into very close to Russian territory. And if you don't know, Russia just borders a few countries.
Like I always had this thought in my head. Why would Russia randomly attack Ukraine? The only reason that I could see that they would randomly attack Ukraine is if Ukraine decided to let America and NATO do dumb shit, and then the dumb shit end up coming up with these consequences. It's the only thing that makes sense. If they didn't do anything, there would be no problem. There would be literally no fucking problem. But they decide to try to go further than they already have gotten. They tried to. So how can I say this? They took the arm. Imagine they took my whole arm, and now they're trying to take my whole fucking goddamn chest, my whole body, pretty much. And it's like, no, you're not taking it. You took the arm. Stay happy with the arm, because if you're going to try to take more, good luck. Consequences.
It's going to be Belarus,
that's pretty much what it is.
Countries that I named earlier,
they took part of it because regime change, and they're trying to go further west to unite the same way of thinking in politics. No.
I believe is Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. And then you've got Ukraine as well, and that's right next to Moldova, and then that's right next to the rest of Europe that's allied with NATO. So I can show you on a map very briefly. Zoom all the way out. Okay, you see Moscow's over here. This is Russia. Very, very wide border, an area to defend.
It's a big border. It's almost half the border. It's almost half the border. It's a very big border between Ukraine and Russia. And NATO was touching in this area. They shouldn't be doing this. We should have never if Ukraine decided to think the same way, think here in the West, like politically, and so goes on, like cool. But they should have never let NATO, EU go and touch this stupid fucking territory, because now we have the consequences that we have now. We should have never done none of this shit. It was very obvious that NATO and EU decide to do dumb shit in this fucking border, or dumb shit in Ukraine in general, to piss off Putin. It was very obvious.
If there was ever any Western influence penetrating Ukraine, okay, there's also very strategic and critical gas lines, I think, going through, if I'm not mistaken, Volgograd and all of these provinces leading up to Moscow, and a lot of them branch out into...
Like, look at Ukraine. Look at the fucking size. It's almost half. It's like a third of the... It's a third of the border, because the border keeps going up, right? It's a third of the border. That's a lot. And EU and NATO was trying to take this, bro, through the regime change, which they managed to do. But now we have the problems that we have right now. That was stupid. That was fucking stupid.
Eastern Europe and these other countries that they supply gas to. So you can see, if NATO starts to expand its influence, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, aka the United States, if we're really being simple here, if they continue to expand their influence through Poland, through Slovakia, and what did I say earlier? Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania is the country that it doesn't border. My apologies. But you can see how much of a quagmire it'd be for Russia to actually defend against any sort of Western influence. And so it started to turn into an issue of an existential threat, which is why they ever invaded in 2022. Belarus is obviously a Russian buffer state. They were a part of what I believe is the CSTO, if I remember correctly. And so for them, there's no worry there. And I think Moscow has flirted with the idea of putting missile launch sites all across southern Belarus to continue escalating the matter in Ukraine and deter Western influence. And so, you know,
Ukraine,
now the biggest
honestly,
thing that I have...
honestly, if I was Ukraine, I would make this like play or where we had to be cool with one side and the other. Like it's the only choice, because if you take one side, Russia becomes pissed because they know that NATO and EU are gonna touch in shit they shouldn't touch. Or if you take Moscow, what the fuck? If you take the Russian side, EU and NATO would be pissed, and then shit would be a problem here. You know what I mean? They had to make, like, Ukraine is in the tough spot where they have to co-align with both, in my opinion.
To mention about all of this and where I wanted to segue is the United States has its hands tied over here. We are all worried about Iran. We're all worried about southern Lebanon, and we still can't resolve that issue because Israel's in the middle of all of it, agitating the matter, making it difficult or nearly impossible for us to broker a peace deal with southern Lebanon, ease the tensions, pull out the IDF from the Belfort Castle in areas that it never had control of since 2000, or really the 80s, since the Israel-Lebanon war had started, which is what created Hezbollah, by the way. And so we have all of these issues in the Middle East that we have to deal with, and now Ukraine and Russia is heating up. And remember, Russia is a nuclear power.
De vakantiediscounter First Minute deals.
Yeah, that's why it's a problem.
Last minutes of
Vladimir is going too far, in my opinion, way too far. Shitty algorithm, by the way. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, YouTube.
And so,
but that's why I keep saying Vladimir Putin is getting Vladimir Putin. What the fuck? Zelensky, sorry, is getting. In my opinion, they're risking too much. They're getting to a point where Putin is going to get into a certain point. He's going to be annoyed and actually like think things a notch, which could lead to a problem, a big problem to everyone. So, you know,
how much more escalation are we going to be allowed to see before Russia starts flirting with the idea of using nuclear deterrence, in which, by the way, this won't be the first time they've falsely kind of thrown around a threat that they would use a nuclear bomb in this conflict. At least they've kind of flirted with the idea, or we've seen some semblance of it from Putin. And, you know, all of the deals that we have to not use nuclear weapons have been regressed further and further, to the point where now, if this continues, all roads kind of lead to Rome. You know what I mean? So it is an unsettling situation.
Yeah,
this is one of the issues that
bad.
Donald Trump said he would have resolved in like a day, and he was never able to solve it. And that's because it's a deeply complex issue. But the way to fix this, in my opinion, is just to remove and promise that NATO will never enter any province in Eastern Europe close to Russia's border. It's just unnecessary. There's no real benefit for us.
Yeah. That was really unnecessary. It would change nothing for us. It legit would change nothing. I don't understand why NATO and EU decide to touch on the border, or the country Ukraine itself. It was stupid. It was very fucking stupid. Because now we have the this is what happens when we try. Like, we have what we have. We're happy, and we're trying to take more. We create problems to everyone in the world. I don't understand. Be happy with what we have. Like, why are we not happy with what we have? Why are you trying to take the rest? It's fucking retarded. Just let them be and let us be. Like, Jesus Christ.
The reason why it was beneficial for Russia to annex Crimea, which is this little strip of land, or this little patch of land right here, the Crimean Peninsula right off of Ukraine, is because it gives them so much more advantage with the Black Sea, which is a warm water port all year round, and it's very critical for their economy. They also host their Black Sea fleet here, and so there's many benefits to them actually maintaining their presence and flexing their power here. So it was a no-brainer in 2014. Once the Ukrainian regime that was backed by Russia was overthrown, the first thing they went for and grabbed in a matter of days, actually, was a very quick annexation, was Crimea, and now they control a lot of the Donbass, or eastern Ukraine, which is comprised of the bigger cities like Donetsk and then Luhansk. So that's kind of like a rundown of what's going on in Ukraine. That's like a very shortened version. There's so many different facts about it. There's so many things that I may miss or I'm forgetting. And also, Ukraine was going to become an energy threat because of the fact that in the eastern province, I can't remember the city, I think it was Donetsk, that had some natural gas reserves or shale gas, and then also Carpathia in the western province that also had natural gas reserves. And so not only was it the Black Sea that Ukraine was going to utilize to become a petro threat against Russia, but it was also going to be the inland gas reserves, which now Russia is aiming to annex as well, in which they've largely been successful for the last, or the better half of the last 4 years. However, now it's kind of stalemated. So the question to ask is exactly how is Putin going to respond? The West is calling his bluff. The West is saying that he wants to capitulate. He wants to broker a deal. But Donald Trump and Joe Biden have been begging Vladimir Putin to be hands off with this issue in Ukraine. And Putin has not he's not issued any sort of apology. He has not listened. He's hell-bent on taking control of the country and ensuring there will be no NATO influence there. And, you know, you have to wonder at one point or another, it's just become not worth it. And the Ukrainian people have been suffering as a result. A lot of Russian people have died in the conflict as well. But it's heartbreaking. And, you know, I want to see a liberated and free Ukraine. I don't want to see the Ukrainian people go through this anymore. But the United States really has to make the right decisions in order for this conflict to end overall. It's the same story that it was in 2024.
The fuck was that?
And it's the same story in 2026. We have to pull NATO out of Eastern Europe, or else we're going to see the matter get worse and worse.
Yeah, it's literally, yeah, true. True. It's the same thing that's going on in the Middle East. We're trying to put our feet where we shouldn't be. We're trying to go towards the East. We should not go towards the East. We have the West. This is our home. Why are we trying to take more? It's fucking retarded. We're touching in shit we shouldn't touch. You're doing dumb shit. By doing the dumb shit, we're gonna consequences. EU and NATO should have never tried to go into the border and touch Ukraine. They should have never done that. They should have never fucking done that. It was fucking retarded. It's fucking retarded. Now you have the problem. The problem we have in Ukraine right now, it's pretty much the same problem we have right now in fucking Iran. With Iran. It's the same thing. They should have never done anything. But America and NATO are fucking retarded. Like what can we do? Like it's actually children that take care of our fucking countries and continents. It's actually insane. I've never seen children so disappointed. The fact that you see this shit happening, we understand what the fuck is going on, and they have the audacity to say, yeah, we are actually the good guys. It's fucking insane. Yep, you can fuck off. Okay, so finish the video. Another video. This time they're all here. Nice, nice, nice.
Ummah, we were talking about how it was trying to fracture the Ummah. They're going after Syria now and stuff. They're in the Golan Heights trying to annex it. We were talking about Druze. So much like insider lore, you know, kind of like all the fragmented sects in Syria and stuff. But yeah, I don't know if you've been keeping up with that. What were your thoughts? Obviously, the war in Iran is stale, kind of. But, you know, the situation in Lebanon continues to be bad. It's just getting worse and worse. So,
well, just wait for July 22nd. You're going to get a lot more content when the Iran war is back on.
So tell Myron about what's this prediction. Go ahead. You said that July 22nd. It's a or holiday. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So they have always escalated the war on holidays, and it's coincided with Ramadan, the beginning of Ramadan with Eid. There were major strikes. The war was really at its peak during Ramadan. So July 22nd is a holiday. It's called Tisha B'Av. Let me share my screen to show you.
Honestly, it's probably what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be like, you know what? Cool. You attacked us during the Ramadan. Okay. You attacked during this month that is very important for us, the Muslim people, the Muslim. Okay. Cool. See you in your fucking goddamn holidays. Probably that's what's going to happen. They're probably going to retaliate in their holidays. Probably.
I think it's even theological. I think it's going to make sense because it's this is the commemoration of, let's see, this is the saddest day on the Jewish calendar. It culminates. It's 3 weeks, a 3-week period, so probably Epic Fury 2. Period of time which we mark the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem.
Oh, this is when Ben Gvir goes up to the Temple Mount, Riyadh. This is the day that he goes up, when he goes up to the Temple Mount to agitate.
When he does his little, okay.
And pray. Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
He's coming to New York, right? I think he's going to come to New York July 7th.
I'll show you real quick. I made a whole tweet about this shit.
Should we pull up on him and say what's up, Sneeko? Collab? That's a joke.
I'm gonna be.
Collab, bro. I'm trying to collab.
Going to Malaysia with Professor Jang, just confirmed. I would love to. I actually wanted to. I'm a little disappointed I'm not going to be in New York for that. Because I actually would.
No, that's good. Give me the IRL setup. I'll confront him.
Right now, in Gaza, across Africa and Pakistan, millions are suffering.
Yeah, we have respect.
So I go, as a former Fed, proudly serves the country, I believe Ben Gvir
using the
to be arrested the moment he lands in NYC under his watch as national security minister, which, by the way, I don't think people understand how much motion this guy has in Israel, bro. This dude is basically the functional equivalent of like the head of the the attorney general and the head of Homeland Security. Like he is literally like, if you took like Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem at their peak, he is the combination of both of them. And he oversees all the law enforcement in interior security in Israel. So this isn't just a dude that, you know, worships a Baruch Goldstein and hangs up his pictures in his house. He also like has an enormous amount of political weight and power.
True.
And then multiple Palestinian Americans were killed by settlers in the West Bank with zero accountability. Saifollah Musalet, Khamis Ayad, Nasrallah Abu Siam. So all these guys were killed in 2025 and 2026. And this guy was the one that was this one was, I think, the most recent one we got killed in July 2025. This is a guy where they beat him up and he could have been saved, and they just let him die. He's from Tampa. This guy's from Tampa. And I remember because I went to Turning Point USA and I met with Propaganda & Co. And I met one of Saifullah's friends from Tampa, and he told the story, and he told me a lot of details that hadn't been reported to news. Now it's out there, but they killed him, dude, and he could have literally been saved, and they didn't do anything. And this was like settlers and the IDF blocking what's it called? Ambulances from getting to him. So this is a pattern, and I basically put here, this is a part of a pattern where Israelis face no legal consequences for their crimes because the security minister refuses to hold Jewish settlers responsible. And then at least 9 Americans died in the West Bank since 2022 with no justice. So I think Gvir needs to absolutely be stopped and talked to about this because he oversees all the law enforcement in the country, and these settlers are never held accountable when they kill Palestinians, which a lot of them are Americans.
Right. I just debated in Times Square yesterday, and
I saw
when
it
I often hear
viral. I saw that. Go ahead.
It always does. Like the street debates with this always just do. It's so easy too because they have the same talking points. One thing they love to say recently, and we talked about this before. Go ahead.
No, I said, or they lie. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, they lie and they say you don't know anything. And I always bring it up how Ben Gvir said all of Lebanon was burned. Also, Ben Gvir is a convicted terrorist. He was not allowed to serve in the IDF because of his terrorism. So he's hated. In New York City, he came in 2022. Even in New York City, heckle and boo this guy. They hate him. I wonder how it's going to be now.
He had a picture of a guy named Baruch Goldstein in his living room for years, who is a well-known terrorist from the JDL that killed, I think, like 30 Palestinians during Ramadan in a mosque. Like, he hung that guy's picture up in his house. That's like, let's say you become let's say you get some motion, get some power, and then you put a picture of like Osama bin Laden in your house, right? Like, what's going on here, bro? Like that's what Ben Gvir is.
The guy,
and he barely approved. Like they denied him. The State Department originally denied his visa, but I guess they probably did some backdoor shit and got him in. Probably a diplomat visa or some shit, or a diplomat passport. But yeah, he originally on like normal Secretary of State, visa standards, he would never get approved ever.
So what he said yesterday, they love to say that it's not the whole government. They'll say they disagree with Bibi Netanyahu and Ben Gvir, but also use all their same talking points and still benefit and still repeat the propaganda of the Hasbara. What can you say, Myron? Because if your background in Homeland Security, he's the Minister of National Security. Said he controls the law enforcement. How much power does he have? Because we've seen him harass the flotilla protesters, and he's saying that all of Lebanon was burned. Is he a really important figure in the government?
Dude, he has, like I said before, he literally is the equivalent of like an attorney general and the Secretary of Homeland Security in one. The guy has an enormous amount of political power. Like, people think he's just like a random extremist. No, he's a random extremist that wields incredible power, and he oversees all the law enforcement in the country. So the federal police, the Shin Bet, he oversees all that shit, dude, especially when it comes to interior security. So yeah, dude, and this is why like they need to at least question him. Like, bro, a bunch of Americans have died in the West Bank, and there's been zero accountability, zero investigations, like real investigations done into this, and you've been the head of you've been overseeing all the law enforcement in the country at the time.
What about the West Bank settlers? Is he in charge of, because we know that there's illegal occupation. Andrew Callahan, Channel 5 just did a pretty good video documenting that. Is he in charge of these? How is he overseeing these soldiers?
Well, I don't know. So because the thing is with the IDF, like they're military, but sometimes they operate as law enforcement. So a lot of the times what will happen is they'll be there in the West Bank and they'll do a lot of the civil order. Like they'll like, you know, they'll patrol whatever. But it's a gray area. And I think Ben-Gvir uses the gray area to his advantage because they're not technically law enforcement, even though they behave like law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about Ben-Gvir, which is, I just wanted to say this really quickly. The reason why he's unfavorable, and this is not to say that most, you know, people are dishonest or whatever. Like, it's just a greater point that I want to make. The thing about Ben-Gvir and why he's disliked in Israel by a lot of the base, and Benjamin Netanyahu to some degree as well, is because he's super honest about what he wants to do.
What he wants
For
to do. Yeah.
the rest of the national security officials or anybody else that has military representation in it, the thing to say is, oh, we're occupying the Golan Heights in Syria because it's a security buffer zone, or we're occupying everything south of the Litani River because Hezbollah is being aggressive with rockets in the north. But with Ben-Gvir, it's completely different rhetoric. It's, no, this is biblically written. We are going to take this back. The Temple Mount is ours. It will fall, like Al-Aqsa flood type propaganda. Like, his rhetoric is hard right wing, like full on.
Bro, I hate this fucking
fascism in a way. And so he posed
the Power Party. That's his party is called Power in Hebrew.
I went to double check it just to make sure, but yes, he does have oversight of the West Bank. Because I see what you're saying. Technically, it's not Israel because it's occupied, you know, territory, but he does absolutely have oversight of the border police under his national security portfolio, oversees the police, including border police force that operate in the West Bank. So yeah, he absolutely does. So even though it's occupied land and it's not technically a part of Israel, he still oversees all the law enforcement that patrols that area because you still need to have some semblance of order. So yes, still has 100% authority over it, and Americans have died under his watch with no real accountability, which is the biggest issue. But it's because they're Palestinian that they don't give a fuck. You know, is the growing trend with these guys. Every time I debate them, it's like, you know, they'll sit there and say, "Oh, it's not a genocide," you know, because their birth rate went up, or.
Bro, how does that make sense? Like, it doesn't matter if the birth rates went up, bro. Every single specialist on the genocide definition literally have said it's a genocide. Even Jewish people that work on said genocide type of work have said that what Israel is doing in Gaza is considered genocide. It's like, bro, you cannot pick this shit up. I don't understand these stupid fucking Zionist Jews saying that it's not a genocide, even though specialists, and not just specialists that are also Jews, have admitted and said that it's a fucking genocide. I don't understand why the fuck they keep saying that it's not, even though it is. What the fuck? Come on,
what do you mean only 3% of the population was killed? We must be horrible genociders if that's the case. Hey, your ability, your success rate does not change the fact that you still attempted or you're still conducting something. Like, if I try to kill somebody and I fail, it's still attempted murder whether I'm successful or not. You know what I mean? So just because you were successful at it didn't mean that it didn't occur. But by the standards, like, the population went up, we only killed 3% of the population. This is the they use to reference it. But it's funny because, like, they'll kill 70,000 people, 20,000 kids, and then say, oh, it's not a genocide, but then they'll forget that they did all this because 1,200 of theirs were killed. Like, let's not forget that all of this started because 1,200 people were killed. You can even make the argument it was really 800 civilians because 400 of them were IDF. So the 80,000 killed in Gaza, the thousands that were killed in Lebanon, the attacks in Iran, the Menab school, all of this shit, all of it, this was been done because of 800 civilians that were killed. But then they'll sit there and they'll laugh at you when you say 70,000 were killed. But they do everything because that 800 that were killed that were civilians. It's peak hypocrisy.
Umar Nurmagomedov, Habib's cousin, he tweeted a video of you debating this Jew at the college campus when she was saying, oh, she doesn't believe it's a genocide.
I texted
and then
him that.
You were comparing it. Yeah, so Umar Nurmagomedov, I know you don't like the UFC, Myron, but he's actually one of the best fighters in the bantamweight division. He almost got the title shot. Inshallah, he's going to get it again. But him retweeting that is huge because he was just straight up saying, like, because you denied the 6 million there. And I even debated the yesterday. I'm like, okay, you're denying this. The UN confirmed it's genocide. He started pivoting to North Korea. But then they'll get upset. And even their state was created on 6 million propaganda, on the Holocaust narrative, on this being the worst atrocity ever.
It's a propaganda.
And today, they deny it. So
until today, we don't know what the number is. But 6 million, it's not likely. Especially the fact that the Jews were considered one of the least population in that time, by the way. When it comes to that specific time, they were one of the least populated, I'd say, religious people at the time. So there's no way it's 6 million. It makes no sense. It's probably it's a high number. I'm not saying that it isn't, but it's not 6 million. It's, in my opinion, it's too fucking. It's too big. It's too big. I would say between the 2 to, I'd say, maybe 5 in between. So like 3, 4, 3.5, something like that. But then I would be like, okay, that's more realistic because at the time the population wasn't that big when it comes to that. So it makes no sense. But, you know.
Did you see Umar tweet that video?
No, I did see him retweet my video. Yeah, because I used the thing, and no, it's just ridiculous. It's just like literally, like when I was done debating, like I still to this day can't believe people actually think he won that debate. It's like bro was arguing with me, telling me that it's not a genocide. And then you know what's funny? So I was telling my brother this, like it's like God was on my side because the next fucking day the UN releases a report, saying that in fact targeted Palestinian kids, because his whole argument was saying, oh, there's no specific intent. He did use some like stupid Latin term, solis, get chat. What was it again? Someone in here telling me it was like some solis, whatever, which basically is a fancy way of saying, in order for a genocide to happen, you need to prove specific intent. I was like, the blockade, destruction of infrastructure, does none of that count? But then the next day, the UN released that they were killing, that they literally were targeting Palestinian kids. So that fulfills his stupid-ass specific intent argument that he was trying to make. But that's what these guys are, bro. Like, I'm like, well, you got all the genocide experts. Everyone is pretty much ruling that, yo, this is a genocide.
Everyone can see that it's a genocide, bro. The fact that experts are saying that it's a genocide, I'm sorry, I'm going to believe a fucking expert than a fucking retard that clearly is blind. If literally a bunch of experts are saying that it's a genocide, I'm going to say it's a fucking genocide. Nigga.
Other casualty, high atrocities that have had less casualties that were deemed as a genocide. But this dude is over here saying like it's not a genocide. The only people that think he won that debate are like don't understand or want to sit there and play genocide apologetics. But it's like it's irrefutable at this point. The only reason why it's not officially labeled a genocide now is because they're still investigating it. But when this is all said and done, this in 2 to 3 years, it's absolutely going to be ruled as a genocide. It doesn't even come close. And then he comes back and he says, oh, well, it wasn't a blockade because we only stopped the food for 2 months. What?
What
like,
the fuck was that,
okay,
bro?
I want to see you go without food or water for 2 months. The blockade. These people are on world, dude.
Well, how is it not confirmed a genocide if the UN just admitted that they're intentionally killing children and sniping kids while they're breastfeeding?
Dole Specialis. So his argument was basically this. He said it's not a genocide because there's no Dole Specialis, and which means basically specific intent. He said that it's warfare, and what the are doing does not constitute a genocide because it wasn't only targeting civilians. They were trying to get Hamas. So in the process of them trying to get Hamas and all this collateral damage, it does not, because he said there was no specific intent on the part of the IDF to kill the civilians. Rather, there were collateral damage while trying to kill Hamas. That was his argument, and he said that there was no Dole Specialis. And then I argued, well, bro, you guys have a blockade, you destroy infrastructure, you destroy all this shit. And then here's another argument he made. He said, well, they destroyed 70 to 90% of the infrastructure, but they only killed 3% of the population. I was like, okay, that's assuming that we have all the bodies dug up, but let's go ahead and say that they did kill 3% of the population. You still destroyed a bunch of the infrastructure. It's like, well, then if you're saying that they didn't destroy they destroyed 90% of the infrastructure, but they only killed 3% of the population, that means it's discriminate bombing. It's not indiscriminate. They were not targeting to kill people. But then I made the argument. I said, no, because if you destroy the infrastructure, you're killing the people slowly. Because just because you didn't bomb them and kill them violently with a strike doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to die later when they get an infection, when they don't have access to food, they don't have access to clean water, they don't have access to medical care.
True.
Like, you're just making the death slower and more painful. And what he was trying to argue, and this is what they do, these boys argue in bad faith. He's trying to say it's not indiscriminate bombing because only 3% of the population was killed. It doesn't matter that the infrastructure was killed. I argued you cannot decouple the two. But this is what I'm trying to say. And then I have idiots saying, oh, you got roasted in debate. I was like, bro, he lost. You're stupid if you actually think that's a real argument. Like, but that's what they do. And I mean, you've dealt with these idiots too. This is what they do. They argue in bad faith and they remove certain factors. They never engage with the entire argument. They only engage with a component of it. And to sit there and say, oh, we only killed 3% of the population, so that doesn't mean it's indiscriminate bombing while destroying 90% of the infrastructure, it's clown world. But they know they have no leg to stand on because killing children is indefensible. So they have to use debate tactics like this from an optic standpoint, even though on the totality of the circumstances, they're 100% wrong.
It's all gaslighting, and one of their favorite tactics is to call you a conspiracy theorist. Yesterday, he was saying that, oh, what about Iran and the protesters? I said, well, Mike Pompeo, former CIA director, said that CIA Mossad infiltrated those Iranian protesters. And it was specifically firebombing, was assassinating, was trying to cause chaos intentionally. Mike Pompeo said this. He's like, oh, you just bringing up conspiracies. Like no, the former CIA director.
Bro, what do you mean conspiracy? There's a bunch of people that tweeted that Hamas walks among you. There's even a guy that admitted that they crashed the currency of Iran in an interview. Live. Like, what? How's that a theory?
Just said this. You don't believe it? And I bring up the UN report and he says, oh, well, they don't talk about Iran. They don't talk about North Korea. So everything is anti-Semitic. Everything is against them. They say you're just getting brainwashed, even though overwhelming media control is by one specific group. So the more...
You, just you, building your app on base
Get
44.
the fuck away from me.
But
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, they'll sit there and they'll say, oh, the UN doesn't matter. It's not credible. It's biased against it. But then they'll go ahead and use the UN definition of genocide. Like, and then they'll use the dole especialis or whatever the fuck thing that this right to use. So it's like, when it benefits them, they'll use the UN. When it doesn't benefit them, they won't use the UN.
I want to see Riyadh. I want to see you get in a debate. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, it definitely will happen, inshallah, at some point. Here's the thing about debating is, first of all, look, all these know how to do is browbeat us over certain things like that guy had brought up with you, like the Holocaust and things like this. Here's the biggest thing that I noticed these in these Palestine-Gaza debates and all these different things as to whether it was a genocide or an ethnic cleansing, although we clearly know it was. They always talk about everything in ambiguity. Everything is like arbitrary, up for debate. Like, you can't really pinpoint exactly what they're trying to say other than like minutia statistics that don't add up to anything that actually support their claim. For example, you talk about high IDF soldiers. Remember, there was a guy that went on Tucker Carlson's podcast. I can't remember his name. However, I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about.
Aguilar, I think. Aguilar is what I think you're talking about.
And he gave like several firsthand account examples of his soldiers targeting Palestinians trying to get food, posing no threat. When they were setting up aid sites, and these soldiers would pose on roofs and shoot them in the back of the head, shoot them in the legs, shoot them in their genitalia at points. And there's like legitimate proof in UN studies of this. And like you can source all of these things and they'll still say no. But was it intentional and discriminate bombing on certain areas? And was the infrastructure actually destroyed, or was it just partially incapacitated? And it's like, bro, the whole crux of everything is what it aimed to do is make the entire strip inhabitable. And in doing that, they were also ensuring wherever they saw Palestinians and mainstream media or any journalists weren't looking, they took them out whenever they could, however they got the chance to do. As well as the fact that I think the Gaza conflict has the highest amount of casualties from press release from journalists. The most journalists that have ever died was in the conflict in Gaza. Why would an opposing military faction be so interested in killing all of the people reporting on the account firsthand in that land if they didn't have anything to hide, or they had these precise munitions and lavender and these AI programs that were responsible in killing the bad guys only without having to take out a whole entire neighborhood and carpet bomb it because Hamas human shield? But this is what they do, and they browbeat you about Iran. 70,000 dead, 40,000 dead. It went to 30,000 a few years ago or a few months ago. Now it's 70,000. I think it's funny. Trump actually made that jump because he's losing his mind. He has dementia. But they don't talk about Gaza. 70,000 confirmed dead in Gaza. Likely after everything is said and done with, it's going to be six-figure plus death count. So, you know, it's always in their favor when they talk about these things. Another thing too is now they're genuinely having, and we spoke about this the other day, Sneeko, on the phone. It is scary because they are so defensive. They still have the same amount of influence, and where you can't talk about them the way they can talk about you, and they have the most control they ever had. No one is paying attention to what's happening in Sudan. And what's happening in Sudan is the worst humanitarian crisis in the world, and the UAE is behind all of it. The RSF funds the UAE funds the RSF, the Rapid Support Forces, that have genocided Sudanese people, the largest ethnic cleansing, millions displaced, hundreds of thousands dead, al-Fashir genocide, all of that. Libya as well. There was a leader who was killed in Libya who was in opposition to UAE related power, and now I believe the guy's name is Haftar. He's backed by the UAE and Russian forces. He's also going to take control in Libya, and I believe it has their footprints all over that as well. And so, like, not only are they earning influence in southern Lebanon, in the Golan Heights, in Gaza, in the West Bank, which they're going to eventually annex, because no mainstream country with any legitimate power that's worth being respected is going to call it out, but they're also presenting some sort of, you know, antagonistic behavior in North Africa too. And so they have all this influence, and it's at the same time that they've also propped up the media campaign to the point where you simply saying something as factual as the Gaza situation as a genocide earned you a 40-minute debate. You know, so it's just, that's why, like, I get nauseated by these. Like, they don't even deserve the conversation.
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah, I'm like this, bro. As soon as I see a Zionist or a Jew, I'm like, don't waste my fucking time. Me walking with my dog outside is more precious good time than be with your bitch ass. True, it's so true, bro.
It is
such a waste. It's such a waste of time.
It has to be shut up. What's the simple way to explain the Sudanese genocide? What are they trying to get there? Is it resources? Is it minerals? Is it because oftentimes Africa gets colonized because they want the natural resources there? What's going on?
You want to take that, Riyad, or you want me to quickly summarize it? It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, the situation in Sudan is very simple. For the last 4 years, the United Arab Emirates has funded a proxy group. They funded this militant group that flew in weapons through Chad, that transported all of these very highly complicated drones and weapons to kill and ethnically cleanse and remove Palestine. I'm so used to saying Palestinian people being displaced, Sudanese people being displaced from the capital Khartoum, which is North Sudan. And then they started to mobilize and gain more influence as they took control of the areas that they had control of, initially being Khartoum. They moved to the west in Darfur, and then they also moved to the south in Al-Fashir, and now they have a large amount of influence. However, the SAF, or the Sudanese armed forces, have been fighting them back and earning back influence. But the situation in Sudan, my brother can maybe be a little bit more comprehensive with it. It's as simple as a grab for rare materials, natural earth, gold being the hottest commodity that the UAE is looking to exploit out of the Sudanese people and the Sudanese land, because it is rich in those natural resources, oil as well. And they've been funding this group for 4 years, and they're still denying it, even though the UN has now created tons of documentation proving that they're behind it. They're still denying it, but they're supporting this group to remove all of this rare earth from Sudan. And as a result, millions of people have now had to flee to Egypt, to several Gulf countries, ironically. And so the situation in Sudan, I believe, is actually worse than Gaza. There's more people displaced. There's just about as many killed. And the world turns a blind eye to it because and the reason why is because it doesn't seem like there's this involvement. Where there's involvement, that's what everybody jumps on. But I'd argue there's certainly involvement in the situation in Sudan, because the UAE and Israel are like this. They have a direct security access. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly do this. Go ahead. You want to say something, Nico? Go ahead.
Yeah, quick. I saw that Trump's crypto reports came out, and apparently there's some transactions of almost $1 billion in crypto between the UAE leaders and Trump. Is this correct?
Tic-tac-toe.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وموالاه بفضل.
There's talking about, there's talks about the rug pull, they made a bunch of money, bro.
They invested into 49%. They invested 49% equity into Jared Kushner's son's big tech firm or crypto firm, whatever it was that Trump also had. Trump had royalties.
You can just call it a proxy for Israel.
So they're certainly in a proxy. And that's the thing. They're power flexing their influence in North Africa, which also is beneficial to Israel. And by the way, since the clean break strategy in the 90s, has always had their eyes on Libya and Sudan. So it's everything that they wanted coming to fruition real time. And no one's, like I said, no one's really like seeing this, but all the strings are being pulled perfectly for them. And there's no condemnation globally.
There's 3 names you just need to remember, Sneeko, to quickly, because I'm going to give you the fastest summary of what's going on here, because it's basically a civil war. But you got to know 3 names in 2 different main organizations. let me just share screen real quick so it's easier, because I've noticed putting faces and name is always better. So this guy, Omar Bashir, used to be the president of Sudan for a very long time. Hell, he was the president even when I went there in 95. What ended up happening was he went to jail for all types of war crimes, etc. That's not really too important. What you need to know is that he put this guy Hemeti as his insurance policy to protect him. This guy is the head of the RSF, or the Rapid Support Forces. This is basically a private militia, okay? Hemeti is an extremely rich and wealthy guy because he runs Western Sudan, which is where a lot of the gold is. So Omar Bashir brought this guy in as his insurance so that he wouldn't be overthrown. This guy, Burhan, okay, Abdel Fattah Burhan, he runs the actual Sudanese armed forces. So he actually runs the state actors, the real military. So after Omar Bashir went to jail in like 2018 or whatever, there was a power struggle between these two, Hemeti and Burhan. And basically, this created a rift between the Sudanese armed forces, who's the government military, and then the Rapid Support Force, which is a private military that was originally put in to protect Omar al-Bashir. And they've been basically fighting for land and territory and influence. And the Rapid Support Services are heavily funded by the Emiratis because Hemeti, the head of the RSF, gives gold to the UAE at a discounted rate. He also works with the Russians, gave them a bunch of gold. He was actually in Moscow giving gold over on the day that Russia invaded because they knew they're going to get sanctioned, so they had to get some gold. So
kind of looks like you, bro.
They always say that. This is how this guy basically has been able to fund the RSF. Also, since it's kind of like mercenaries, he's also sent them to Yemen to fight against the Houthis, which is exactly why Saudi Arabia. This is why they sent them to Yemen to fight, and this is why the Saudis back the Saudis back the Sudanese armed forces, because the UAE supports the RSF, while Saudi Arabia supports the official military. And the reason why they support the official military is because it's in their interest, because the RSF are not aligned with Saudi Arabia. I think I have that right. So yeah, that's the general gist of it, man. So 3 names.
So it's like they're Hezbollah. It's like their rogue military group, then they call them terrorists.
The RSF, yes, exactly. The RSF is basically a mercenary army that was originally created to protect Omar al-Bashir, but once he came out, then there became a power struggle between Hemeti, who runs the military, the private military, and then Burhan, who runs the official military. And this has been led to the bloody civil war that's been going on over this land. So that's basically what's going on. So the RSF versus the SAF, and they're backed by different, Gulf states based on their own, interests, because obviously the RSF is backed by Russia and the UAE, and then the SAF is backed by like Saudi Arabia.
What's interesting, I don't know if you noticed
right
this.
On that, by the way, just to quickly add, Saudi Arabia has a vested interest in the local Sudanese government keeping control of the country. They're going against the UAE for influence. So Saudi Arabia is behind the SAF as well.
I hope that makes sense, guys. I threw a lot out there, but that's basically the conflict in a nutshell. To summarize, there's way more to it than
proxy war. It is a proxy war of Saudi Arabia and the UAE. They're fighting for a lot of influence in the Middle East right now. And so it is like Saudi Arabia versus the UAE and
just to get their natural resources.
Mohammed bin Salman actually. Well, here's the thing.
Gold is a big one, Nico. Gold. There's other resources, but gold is a big one.
Look, the world is moving away from oil slowly but surely, and so rare earth and gold and things like that are going to be a lot more valuable later than they are now. And so I think a lot of these Middle Eastern Gulf countries want to take advantage of that because they're going to have to move towards tourism for economic stability, and then probably rare earth as oil will pull away. But yeah, Mohammed bin Salman had told Trump a few months ago when they had met, when he came to the United States, that he wants him to start worrying about Sudan and help him militarily support Sudan. He wants to stabilize the home government and take their side to push out the UAE influence. I'm not saying he's like a great guy with a big heart for that. Of course, he has his vested interest as well, but
yeah, probably.
That's that.
Yeah, but they're getting gold for super cheap. A lot of their gold comes from Sudan. And it's kind of funny because like the UAE has some like weird law where they're able to label the gold that they get from Sudan as their own. So they have like all these like, because they smuggle the gold out. That's a big way that they're able to earn the money, is they smuggle the gold out. So, and since Hemeti controls Western Sudan, where a lot of these, gold mines are, he's able to use that to his advantage and fund his military. And basically he's able to, use them in armed conflicts all across the world, like in Yemen, for example, which is the ops, obviously, of the Saudi Arabians. So that's why they augment Yemen, and then the Saudis support the SAF because the SAF is fighting the RSF.
You're right. They're moving away from that oil.
The Sudan was on the clean break memo too, though. Like, it always had an interest in getting rid of Sudan as well, for a bunch of reasons.
I mean,
Sudan has always been kind of like a rogue state. Osama bin Laden hid out in Sudan for many years.
Yeah,
low-key Sudan has been kind of like a roguish state.
He hid out. They said he was hiding out in Pakistan and Afghanistan.
No, in the beginning it was Sudan.
Too?
In the 90s, he was in Sudan.
Yes.
So when he got kicked out of Saudi Arabia because this all started because when Saddam invaded Kuwait. So as Saddam invades Kuwait, and Osama bin Laden, who's still high off his W against the Soviets in the 1980s, tells the royal family, "Hey, I could defend you. I can fight Saddam. We can get him out of Kuwait," because Kuwait obviously borders Saudi Arabia, so there was a huge national security risk for them when he came in and he took it over in 24 hours. So they were fucking panicking, and they said, "Nah, it's cool. We got the United States." And Osama basically said, "How the fuck are you gonna let Kufar defend Muslim land? You guys are bitch." And they were like, "No, you could get the fuck out of here." So they revoked his citizenship and kicked him out the country because I think he's actually like ethnically Yemeni, Osama, but his family is very wealthy. Like his family built Saudi Arabia. He comes from a very rich and affluent construction company that's responsible for like building all the infrastructure all across Saudi Arabia. So he had a lot of power. That's why he spoke to them that way. And they said, "No, you can get the fuck out." So when they ostracized him and kicked him out, he went and hid out in Sudan for a while.
So you guys didn't. The
That's
Foodle
what radicalized
brothers.
him, actually. That's what made him hate America.
Here we go.
That's what radicalized him.
What are you about to say?
So the Foodle brothers did 9/11. You guys sheltered Osama bin Laden. You were harboring terrorists.
Here comes the 10 IQ. I thought this was an
knew it.
IQ discussion, man.
I knew it. The Foodle brothers did 9/11.
Look,
Come on.
All right, whatever. I'm not even gonna entertain that crazy point. But no, yeah. Look, the biggest thing here is out their tentacles stretched real wide. Yeah, I'm looking at a stream. We just drew twin towers over both of our screens. But yeah, the biggest thing is out their tentacles stretched out, and they're flexing their power and influence. And the UAE is to be watched out. Look, I condemn the UAE all the time. I probably won't be able to ever travel there again as I gain more popularity and keep shitting on
Here's
them.
Here's a takeaway. Anytime someone says, "Oh, we invaded Iraq because 9/11," you can laugh at them and say, "Actually, that doesn't make sense because Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden absolutely hated each other." It's like anyone that understands or knows, like, the Middle East, like, knows that, like, what the like Osama was trying to fight Saddam to get him out of Kuwait. And that's exactly what led to him being ostracized. So when they say, "Oh, 9/11 was done by Osama bin Laden, so we need to invade Iraq," it's like preposterous.
Most people understand 9/11 now, and the pretext for the Iraq War, which people seem to have short-term memory loss, was weapons of mass destruction. They killed 1 million Iraqis, and they didn't find any weapons. They are using the same exact strategy now, which it's so obvious. You look, Riyadh was bringing up the fact that it's no longer going to be based off of the world economy won't be oil-based. They're moving towards a tech world order. They want the AI empire. They want people relying upon this.
So the video was ending here. On to the next video.
Continue on with this video, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys the lore, and we'll see what CNN has to say onwards about these strikes. And just give me 1 second.
Fuck, I don't care. Oil price. Let's see. We don't care about you. We want to just look at oil prices in general. How are they? How are the oil prices? They were at $80. They went back down to 60, but we're going back to $80. And by the way, the war, like, this is, I would say, it's, how can I say this? It's bad, but it could be at 90, like, $80. I'd say it's bad. It's not very bad. It's just bad. It should not be at $80. It should be at 70, 60. It should not be at 80 right now. It's bad. It's bad. It's not very bad. It's bad. I'm probably gonna see this price skyrocket. I would say honestly the same thing as Nico said. The 22nd of July, I probably would see this shit skyrocket like immediately or like a lot in the same day or the days after. I'm pretty sure they're gonna make the fucking shit worse with the that special day for Israel. They're probably gonna do it because like, bro, Israel did it in the special fucking months that Muslims have. Come on, they're probably gonna do the same shit.
Second, guys, I'm gonna go take a whiz Give me one moment, but I'll let this video play for you.
And we've seen such, vivid depictions of
back.
this rationing. We've seen lines and lines of Russian drivers waiting for petrol in Russian cities, along with the images of blown up Russian refineries. What has all this done to Russia's so-called energy superpower status?
Why? Clearly, it has damaged it to a large degree, and also something that Russian population could probably have not imagined. They have the flashbacks to the 90s when Soviet Union was collapsing and there was deficit of everything. So it's a strange, harbinger possibly of what awaits Russia, and people perfectly understand that. Putin will try to put up a brave show and will try to find alternative sources for this energy, but the question is whether he will have to pay hard currency for this, to which he's also running out because his war chest is drying up. We see Russia runs a huge budget deficit, more than it has expected. So all of this creates really a crunch.
Do you really think they have a lot of budget deficit, bro? Do you really think people from CNN, you guys are gonna know? Come on, bro, you're a bunch of fucking retards. You really think they're in the budget deficit? You really think they would take these hits, strike them twice as hard? Like, if they really were in a deficit, I don't think they would strike as hard. I don't think so. Like, that's just a stupid way of thinking, in my opinion.
Time for Russia, and especially let's recall that there will be so-called sham Duma elections, where one way or the other, Putin will have to show up the brave face, telling how this war is going in his favor, which obviously the Russian citizens perfectly understand it is not.
What do you mean it is not? I mean, they managed to get part of Ukraine. How is that not? That's not victory, bruv. I mean, they're doing this because they're trying to get Ukraine, because NATO and EU decided to do dumb shit in Ukraine with the border. So I think right now their objective is kind of going. They went far. I'd say it's stabilized. I'm not saying they're, but the fact that they have part of it, it's already a big W for them, I would say. The fact that they have a good part of Ukraine is already a big W for them, because they're trying to get Ukraine. Like, they really didn't do a lot because this thing still hasn't changed. I agree that it's a big W to the point where economically and shit like that, it's a big problem. Which I do agree, but I don't think it affected the economy as much as they think. That's what I think.
This is, as you put it, crunch time for Russia and for Putin, but is there a danger that Russia's fuel crisis actually could rally the public around the Kremlin instead of turning them against it?
There's always the risk of that, and a nation under any attack is rallying around the flag. There are two questions. One, how long they can sustain this rally, and let's, as I've said.
And by the way, chat, the people in Russia understand full and well exactly why Russia invaded Ukraine. They're not like blind to it. They know all the lore. That would never be the case for the US, right? So
the Ukrainian strikes on Russia, when Russian population started feeling it, is now lasting more than a year and a half.
I'm gonna get another cup of water, come back in a second. Maybe a snack actually as well. Come back. There you go, I'm back. Sorry guys. Had to do something, but I do be back. Drink a little bit of water and open the little snack that I have here. Water, bro. So good. Perfect. Little snack.
And furthermore, it's attacking Moscow, the heartland of Russia. And also, let's remember, in Russia, it's the economic elite, it's a security elite that also has a huge influence. And if they see...
Let's see, MB says, you got to play the Putin Munich speech. In 08, I can play it for you. And he said it before that. Lotus, and thank you, MB, for the super chat. Appreciate you, man. Lotus says, yo, Riyadh, love the duo between you and Sneeko. Keep up the good work. Hope to see a lot more collaborations in the future. Yeah, you will. You definitely will. Let's see. Sorry, did I kill you guys with the video I played? I'm sorry. Bro, it was a video on my ex, and like it was like a video of Germany. Sorry, my bad, guys. Oopsies. Whoops.
Things happening, especially in Crimea, somewhere where the fuel shortages are the worst, because it's a...
And please, everybody, if you have not already liked the video, please like the video. I don't know how many likes we have here. Let's see. All right, I'm a boomer. I can't see the likes. I got to open up the stream, but got about 500 of you guys in here. So if you could like the video, that helps me out a bunch. I really appreciate all the love. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me.
Peninsula. It relies heavily on everything provided from mainland. The fear is that if Ukraine manages to choke off Crimea, there may be a real panic in the elites whether Russia will be able to sustain this, war treasure as where it's started the war against Ukraine back in 2014 with the annexation of Crimea. And if there is a risk of losing this prize, there will be more pressure either to consider a certain removal of Putin or a serious negotiation with Ukraine to avoid a humiliating defeat.
Rescue operations underway as we're speaking in Kyiv following Russia's deadly strikes on the Ukrainian capital again. Officials say at least 18 people have been killed in the region, and the attack comes on the eve of President Trump heading to Turkey for a huge meeting of NATO allies this week, taunting the NATO allies. Clearly, the White House says, though, Trump will meet with Ukrainian President Zelensky while he is there. CNN's Harry Enton is...
Yeah, guys, in Russia brutalized them. So prayers to Ukrainian civilians, man. Heartbreaking. Yeah.
Joining us now. All right. We see this attack. We should look at what's happening inside of Russia. How much is Putin being looked upon by his own people?
Yes.
Outside of the war.
So let's see. They're probably going to say his approval is dropping, which would make sense, but they may dramatize it. Let's see.
Or watching what's going on with that, and who are dissatisfied with the way things are going, especially when it comes to their personal economies.
Yeah, look, leaders at the end of the day have to respond to the people in their country. And right now, Vladimir...
I love this stupid fucking argument, bro. What is Trump doing? I would love to know. What is Trump doing? He clearly is responding to America's people need. 100%. They clearly all wanted the war. 100%.
Putin is feeling the heat because it's always about the economy, right? And what you're seeing here is, take a look. Okay, Russians who say their economy is getting worse or getting better. You look back 2 years ago, look, the majority of Russians said their economy was getting better. That number has collapsed. Now we're just talking about 27%. Compare that to the percentage of Russians who say that their economy is getting worse. That was just a third 2 years ago. That is up significantly like a rock.
All right, bro is mad excited. Like, dude, you can say whatever you want about the Russian populace being upset with this war, in which there very well may be some truth to that. At least the dissatisfaction, I suppose, about this war is probably growing over these last 3 or 4 years. That makes total sense, completely plausible. I'm not denying that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that Vladimir Putin is simply not going to stop until he knows that the United States will pull out of its NATO aggression. It's just that simple.
Yep. True.
He won't. And by the way, he's covered tons of ground. He's annexed a lot of what used to be Ukraine. So, which I get it, used to be the Soviet Union, but what used to be Ukraine. So it just, any American who thinks that Putin is like shivering in his boots, ready to just capitulate and concede and do a deal, this is the same shit they say about Iran. You don't understand the United States is always lying and spewing out this rhetoric, and this is exactly what gets us into the problems that we're always finding ourselves in. It's always, oh, they want a deal. Oh, they're struggling. Oh, they're terrified. Oh, the people are super frustrated. There's no rally around the flag effect. And then we lie about it. And at the end of everything, it seems as if though in us lying, it was the cope, because we didn't want to show people that we were never winning the war. And the people of the country we were fighting were favorable against the actual enemy. And with the home government, they stood. So it's like the same thing we do in Russia. We're saying, oh, the Russians are upset, and, oh, they don't have any gas, and all that. The Russians understand these are the implications of war. Maybe they're upset. I'm sure everybody wants the war to end, but they also understand there's going to be some serious concessions that are necessary in order for this war to end. Otherwise, Putin can't stop it because he would have started it for nothing. So this is a very dangerous, disastrous line of rhetoric. Putin's scared. Putin's terrified. Putin's going to bomb the shit out of Ukraine if we keep this war up. Like,
yeah, Russia, if it gets to a point where they're tired, hey, bro, good luck. That's all I'm saying, bro. If they have to unleash some shit to be able to get that shit back, they will fucking do it. And we all know that shit. We all know it. Like, he's getting to a point where he's actually tired of doing this shit. He's fucking tired. He's getting to a point where he's actually fucking tired. They're doing the same shit with Iran, and Iran, like, is going to get to a point probably they're going to be tired of it as well. And here we go.
Get worse and worse. They've got tons of more munitions where that came from. So, and they've got a nuke. Are we forgetting they got a nuke? We're talking about how Putin is struggling, Putin is scared. Putin's got a nuclear bomb.
He has a nuclear bomb if he wants to.
So, we got to grow up. You know, we got to grow up and put a cap on this and stop saying that we're winning. Yeah. We have to grow up and realize Crimea is now Russia's. We have to grow up and realize the Donbass is largely theirs now.
What the fuck?
We have to grow up and realize there is no NATO in Ukraine. That's not realistic. That's not actually ever going to happen. We have to be fair, because if we're not, we're putting the lives of innocent Ukrainians at risk.
True.
And for what exactly? For Western influence, for Western expansion. This is actually diminishing gains. This is actually not helping anybody.
Yep.
So
it's causing problems for the whole world.
And you topple on the fact that Ukraine is super corrupt anyways, and all of the corruption that's been exposed throughout the years.
True, it's one of the somehow Ukraine became the most corrupted country here in the continent of Europe.
But it's going to require some honesty from the United States.
It's
not
actually
Putin
fucking
is shivering
insane.
in his boots. How many years have they been saying that for? So
they've said that for years and nothing happened.
It's just like we've got to be realistic with ourselves. It's the same thing with the supreme leader. It's the same thing with Abbas Araghchi. It's the same thing with the IRGC in Iran. Iran's begging for a deal. Iran can't hang on. Iran is going to lose all of their money. They're going to lose $500 million a day by the naval blockade. Remember that on Truth Social?
Yeah, 100%.
And then we released the naval blockade on Iran, and they still control the Strait of Hormuz.
That's stupid. That's so stupid.
So this rhetoric really needs to stop with the United States, and it needs to end. From the media, from the president, from Washington, from the Oval Office, wherever it's coming from, it needs to stop, and we need to start being a little bit more honest with ourselves. I get it. Propaganda is a part of the game, but now it's actually hurting us a lot more than it would have ever helped us. So
true.
To 60% now, nearly doubling in just the past 2 years. This war, and of course, all of the sanctions that go with it, have had a tremendous impact on Russia's economy.
Somebody says in the chat, I'm faking Putin. Bro might crash out one day. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like, hey, the provocation's not a good idea with Russia. Hey,
it's
actually, let's not
be
provoke
pissed.
Russia. Because I actually have sympathy for Ukraine. I don't want to see them continuously get bombed. But like when we keep saying, Putin's, don't worry, 2 more days, Putin's going to beg for a deal. It's like, no, that's not real. That's, and they have a nuke.
Yeah, that's the thing is, he's a crazy motherfucker. And you're laughing at him in public and marketing and showing in international fucking marketing. In international TV, bro, is gonna get to a point where you know what, fuck this shit. If we all know, if he wants to bring everything down, he will bring everything down. That's the problem, is we need to stop with stupid fucking retard shit, these 10 IQ fucking arguments, and it's saying that he's scared. He's not. If he wants to end everything, he could have just ended everything. He could have just straight up used the nuke, and there you go. But he doesn't want to do that. But if they're gonna push him to the point that where his back is gonna be against the wall, he's gonna fucking do it if he wants to. We all know that. And that's something we need to keep in mind, is not to push too much the strings. Because if you put too much the strings, the TV is gonna fall down.
You know, people think nuclear warfare is far. It's like,
no.
Yo, it's far until it's not, though.
The thing is it's far, but we just need one little thing to push the how far it is to like a centimeter. Like, it's true that it's far, but he could jump that far. That's why we need to be careful.
It's far until we're really going back and forth and things are getting worse and worse. Because now what terrifies me is, what is it going to take for Putin to actually give up?
I don't think so.
It's not going to be hitting their oil infrastructure and shorting the country of gas for a couple of weeks. That's not going to do it.
It's not going to do it.
If you thought that was going to do it, you are severely mistaken. You are egregiously mistaken. That's not even nearly enough to get Putin to capitulate.
Yeah, it's
going to take a lot more than that.
Yeah, more than that shit.
You think a guy with nuclear warheads is going to go, oh, damn, my people are running out of gas. Let me just sign a peace treaty. What dumbass. He's been at war for 4 fucking years. Like he's going to give up because there's a little bit of shortage of oil. Like, let's really get real. Let us get realistic. Let's come to earth. Enough propaganda. This war needs to end.
Yeah, it should end. It should not even be still.
It's the same thing with
should
Iran.
Not be here still.
It's like, why are we lying to ourselves? And how much more until the United States and the American public picks up on the bull? They've already picked up with the bull on Iran. That's why Trump's approval rating is at a record low level. Once this war starts getting mainstream headlines, people are going to start to pick up on the bull too. You'll see.
And you can see it here. The people inside of Russia are not liking the way that the economy is going. And for the first time that we've really seen in recent memory, the pessimism is sky high.
Look, and I'm not saying that's entirely false. I'm not saying the Russian public is not happy or happy. I'm not denying or accepting. Look, the case is, what's likely is that they're upset. They're frustrated. If they're waiting for oil, if they're waiting for energy, energy's running low, groceries are getting a little bit more expensive, inflation's up a little bit from what I've been reading. Look, they're definitely not happy. But at the same time, the way they see it, this war is self-defense for themselves in Russia. That's probably how most of these Russians see it. True. And so, are they that upset? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But that means nothing in the face of Vladimir Putin. That's what we need to discuss with one another.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Doesn't matter anyways.
That's something they need to keep in mind, is they don't care.
They could be protesting outside of Moscow. They could be protesting outside of Kremlin. They could be so mad about everything. Doesn't matter. Putin's not going to stop this war until he gets what he wants, which is U.S. capitulation and a cease of NATO aggressions expanding eastwards. Or NATO expansion aggressively going towards the east, is what I meant to say.
Which they're trying to do.
And until
we all know
we get that, or until we concede on that, there's just not going to be a cessation of hostilities. I'm sorry to tell you. And that's what all the smart people say about this war. That's what all the guys who are very honest, all the libertarians, all the guys on the right, all the guys on the left who are honest about this conflict will tell you. It's just not going to end that way. It's not going to end.
It's more likely it's not going to end that way.
The U.S. has got to get out of the fairy tale mode. We got to get out of the we're the biggest, strongest, baddest. Everybody bows to ours. Everybody bends the knee for us. It's like, bro, we just lost a war against Iran.
Not anymore. Everyone is able to catch up. That's something that America should have realized, that everyone's catching up. And they need to start showing respect and not act like fucking retards. But they want to act like retards. I mean, you get the consequences like a retard.
Iran just whooped our ass. And now they might have a nuke and they control a fifth of the world's oil. So exactly how are we going to beat Ukraine, or how are we going to beat Russia via Ukraine as a proxy? I'm sorry. Are we dreaming? Gotta end it. It needs to end.
This is a terrible number. For any leader anywhere, that is an awful number. People clearly dissatisfied. I do want to ask you about what's happening inside of Ukraine, and knowing that President Trump is going to meet with NATO allies. He is on the way to Turkey to do that. How much sway does he have with the Ukrainian public?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, it takes 2 to tango, or 3 in this case, the U.S., Russia, and Ukraine. And you can see the domestic picture here in Russia is not particularly good. Of course, what Trump is hoping.
Ali Gaming, thanks for the $1.
Is that, you know, he can, you know, put his finger on Volodymyr Zelensky and, you know, pressure him. But there, the domestic picture is very different, because take a look here. Look at this number. Look at this number. Net approval of U.S. leadership among Ukrainians. Yeah, Sarah is whistling, because this has been a dramatic, a huge shift. You know, when Joe Biden was president back in
So if this is saying that the approval for the U.S. president in Ukraine is down 70 points, they probably just want the war to end.
2024, U.S. leadership.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I think that's what that means.
Is on the positive side of the ledger at plus 3 points. Look at how this number has absolutely fallen through the floor to now.
And so if a U.S. president comes in and supplies Ukraine with all the big bad weapons they may desire, what's that going to do for Ukraine? Just put a bigger target on its back.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Nuclear conflict.
Yeah, I was about to say, giving them weapons to continue the fucking problem or to put more fucking wood into the fire is going to create a bigger fire over time. So we're going to get to a point where there's no hope coming back, which is a big problem. It's a big fucking problem. Not just for Ukraine and Russia, but the whole world, especially the whole world. It's very bad.
And help.
Negative 72 points. That is a 75-point switcheroo in the wrong direction. So, you know, look, Trump is going to try and pressure Zelensky to make a deal in the same way he'll try and pressure Putin to make a deal. But Zelensky be like, hey, I'm not going to feel any pressure from my folks if Trump is putting pressure on me because my folks just don't trust U.S. leadership.
Right, and there's a reason for that. Some of the comments that Trump has made, some of the niceties with Russia, and yelling at the president while they're in war has been a real problem for the Ukrainian people. I do want to ask you about, you know, this.
I mean, let's be honest, bro. Zelensky is a dumb bitch. He wants to get what he wants. He thinks he's one of the big dogs. You're no big dog, bro. He needs to be put in his fucking position. He needs to shut the fuck up when, like, bro, he had the audacity of fucking demanding shit from America. Which I understand. You're at war because of EU and NATO. I'm not saying otherwise. But you need to understand that you are the one who decided to be in that position. You're the one who made the decision to be in that position. You could have said no. Just leave it peace, you know? Be at peace with both. You could have done that, but Zelensky, you know? You could have... Hey, some decision you could have done. But you decided not to. You decided to listen to one side, and then, like, here we are. You know? Yeah.
War has been going on now for more than 4 years. And a lot of people thought, even U.S. intelligence thought, that it was going to be Russia taking over within days. The Ukrainians have managed to fight and fight and fight.
With technology of America, bro. Without support of America, they would have been eaten in 3 days, bro. They would be gone. Bro, like, if it was... because America gives support. Like, let's be honest, bro.
From what I've heard from good analysts, bad with remembering names, it's probably Scott Horton you're thinking of. It's that the dissatisfaction with Putin from people is actually with Putin being too soft. I've heard they want Putin to go harder. Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. Look, I don't want to take...
They want Putin to go harder. They want Putin to go fucking harder? Holy shit. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. But they want them to go harder? I mean, it is true. They could have amped up the fight drastically if they wanted to. But they're not doing it out of respect of the Ukrainian people. But Russia, in majority, wants them to go harder. Me hearing this give me chills, bro. What the fuck?
One side or the other, because I just don't have the facts. You know what I mean? Thank you, by the way, for the super chat.
What
that's
the
from
fuck?
Lost Ronin.
But if that's true, holy shit.
But what I can guarantee you is they understand the greater good of why this is happening. And they're willing to sit through a couple weeks of rationing supplies if it means Russia maintaining its sovereignty and Russia maintaining buffer states across Eastern Europe to protect from NATO expansion eastwards. They're willing to do that. So
we don't care, you Goyim, Zionist, Jews, cunts. Get the fuck out of here.
You know.
Jesus Christ.
It is, it's all lies. It's all lies.
Like I hate, I hate the algorithm so much. I hate so much the YouTube algorithm. It's so dog shit. They give you these shitty ass fucking ads, bro. It's like, fam. Like, come on, you know, bro, you're literally to the point where they know, you know everything about us. You know what we like, what we don't like. Why do you keep giving us the dog shit? It's actually insane.
News, so we got to consume it and debunk it as we go.
Fucking hell.
In a way no one thought was possible, including Russia. So how do Americans feel about the war itself?
Oh, is he in an X space? Myron's in the X space? Okay.
Hey, you have no...
Let's jump into that, because I'm tired of this CNN bull.
Bullshit.
Let's jump into that. Because this is what it's been for years, guys. If you haven't been following this conflict, U.S. media is just always making it seem like, Putin's capitulating, Putin shivering in his
No,
timbers,
Putin's not
Putin shivering
at
in his
all.
boots, shivering in his timbers.
It's not true.
I think that's that's the wrong way to say it. Shivering in his boots, but that's just not true, and that's the
It's not
dangerous
true at all.
rhetoric we use
It's
with
not
Iran,
true
and
at
look
all.
where that got us. So we've got to be careful with that. Okay, so
And maybe they were even willing to sacrifice some level of morality for, you know, for the person next to him to have some food on the table.
Yeah, no, 100%, man, and that's why nationalism is so. It's critical for socialism, but these guys don't want to have that combo because then you got to have the uncomfortable immigration talk, and the last thing Democrats want to do is alienate the aliens.
Well, yeah, well, it's a huge chunk of their voter base.
That's why
so.
they're fighting so hard for IDs for voting.
It's insane to me that hasn't passed yet. It's something that over 70% of the country supports, and our super strong Republican Party that, you know.
All right, they're just chatting up about socialism.
But
yeah, so that's a lot of what's going on in Ukraine right now. We'll keep up with that closely. Don't worry. I know no one's covering it. I'll cover it because I think it's important. I think it matters.
It is
I think
important.
it is
It does
relevant.
matter. Yeah, it's
and
very
the
important.
situation in Iran has lost a lot of its steam, and so hopefully the MOU does work. It does work out. Hopefully,
It's probably not going to. It's probably going to continue, and then especially the day 22 of July, it's going to be very important. It's going to be that day. Everybody's going to be going to be on Twitter. Everybody or looking at the fucking international fucking media. Everyone's going to be like that shit looking, bro. Okay, is there an attack? Because the 22nd of July is an important day for Israel, for the Goyim, for the Zionists. It's a very important day. So, I'm predicting that Iran is probably going to attack them at the 22nd of July as well. I'm probably going to. I'm predicting that.
pulls back in Lebanon a little bit. Although
It just makes sense to me.
Hope, and we'll pay attention to that Ukraine conflict as it continues to escalate, which hopefully it doesn't, but it's just kind of
It's
like
probably
set up
is
to
gonna
do that
go.
at this point. So we'll see what happens.
Let's see another one where Alec Jones ends up getting the collab with Sneeko with an interview in the podcast, and apparently Alec Jones lost his mind.
Dude, I tweet this today.
We'll see.
I'm at work, by the way.
I did.
This gets 20K.
I did see some clips of it. I decided, you know what? We'll keep the video. We'll keep the reaction of the video and the stream or parts of the podcast stream to today. Literally the harsh truth. Let's talk about the harsh truth at the beginning of the week, and we'll see. Now I'm curious to see what the fuck happened because I saw some shit that made me laugh. But
Which
we'll
for
see.
me is a lot.
We'll see.
Right? So
We'll see.
I tweet this up today. I say, you care about soccer too effing much. Go get some money, right? And that's in
True.
response to, look, I saw what happened with Egypt and Argentina. You know, everybody was saying the game was rigged. I wanted Egypt to win. I wanted the Muslim team to win.
I wanted the Muslim team to win, bro.
Dude, people are, yo, bro, I gotta get the headphones off for this. And this is just maybe why I'm different. Maybe this is why I'm just different than a lot of you niggas. I get it. It's the World Cup. It happens every 4 years. Mohamed Salah, whatever. Egypt loses. They're on X like crying. I'm like, bro.
No, there's no way, bro. I mean, I say that, but on Instagram, it's the same shit. Every single time I see that shit, it kind of makes me laugh. I do repost it though, because it's the truth, bro. Let's be honest. It's fucking bullshit. But it crying? There's no, come on, bro.
Like every post I see is like, the game was rigged. There's a 6 million word article on like why the game was rigged. And I'm like, okay, maybe the game was rigged. It is messy. It's FIFA. Sports are corrupt. But like people are losing sleep. And it's like,
Yeah,
you know
losing,
what?
that's stupid. That is
Sneeko was really upset about it. Sneeko's a millionaire. So Sneeko can be
Yeah.
upset about it. Like, he's not in the Matrix. So he's
Yeah,
actually
true.
excluded from this. You work a normal job. You are not a millionaire. You're like a normal person. And you are like tweeting endlessly about Egypt losing the World Cup. I'm sorry, bro. Your priorities are just everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
okay.
shouldn't be your
Maybe it
problem.
was rigged. Who cares? Every single player on that Egyptian roster will never know of your existence. and you are hell-bent typing up an essay on X or whatever other platform talking about how it's rigged or not. So I just got annoyed. I'm scrolling on X, you know, I'm trying to see like politics. And look, politics is jester too, you know. You can argue politics, no one cares either. But I'm scrolling on X and everybody's in Egypt, Argentina, soccer, World Cup. And I'm like, gang, most of you guys probably are not rich. Why are you this concerned? So I tweet this, right? I say, you care about soccer too much, go get some money. You know, and I'm being a little tongue-in-cheek. I'm being a little silly.
I love how I said, nah, you're right.
Being a little, you know, cutesy, being a little rage baity. But there's some truth to that statement. Like, bro, don't over concern yourself with sports. Like, that's not good. That's not good. You should be concerned about like, and you don't need to know about politics either. You don't even need to know the 3 branches of government. Go get money.
Go get
That's
money.
Yeah,
go
get money.
Go get
start
that bag, bro.
business.
Go get that bag.
Go work overtime. Get your money up. Not your funny up. Okay? And so I say go get some money. Like, you guys are too concerned about sports. Enjoy the World Cup when it's over. Shut your fucking mouth. Okay? Everybody's crying about it. Sneeko says oy vey. Walt says facts, whatever,
Facts.
Right? But like, people in
right.
these comments are crying. Somebody says, don't go down your bro's path. You seem more responsible. What?
I just want
What the fuck was that response? What the fuck was that? There was how is that a response to what?
How? Base 44. Look, it pulls out.
What are you talking about?
Like what?
I'm saying don't be in the matrix and fall for
Just don't be
the
stupid.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
just don't
you
be
guys
stupid.
are
Like what?
So mad about sports. Like, okay, I'm sorry that I'm trying to draw people onto a better focus, which is like getting your money up,
yeah,
improving your physique, improving your speech.
Just be better at something. It's more important than just match. Like, bro, it's true.
Reading books, getting smarter. I don't know. Like, get a girlfriend, get a wife, have a kid.
Something like that.
Do something useful. Contribute to society.
Yeah, true.
Right? You can talk about soccer. I'm not saying you can't, but like, you guys are just on and on.
Don't get to the point where you're doing it too much. Like, we understand, but don't overdo it. That's the thing.
Ages. So I tweet that, and people are in here saying, you know, we rich fam.
We rich.
You know, your brother got money, then he became an analyst with a goofy name. Appease whiteness more and stay there. You know, everybody's so mad. Look, these things don't get to me at all. I don't reply to any of these people. Look, none of them even have likes. But I'm just like, wow, did I trigger the goyim? Like, relax. You know, if you're mad, I'm sorry I hit you where it hurts. Like, you guys are goofballs. I hope the chat can resonate with me.
That's so
like,
dumb.
dude, and like I said, to me, this is my worldview. If you're rich and famous, you can have fun with sports. You can watch sports and enjoy them because you're rich and famous. So like, what else is there for you to do besides continuously be more rich and famous? You know, enjoy the slop. You've earned it. But like, to you, normal, and by the way, myself included, I'm not a millionaire. So when I'm telling y'all, stop watching sports, go get money, go get bitches, I'm not just speaking.
Hey, he's speaking facts, bro. Go get money, go get bitches. He's speaking facts. He is speaking facts. He's telling the truth, bro. It is true. That is true. People should not be focusing too much on this. It's not like we cannot talk about it and like not say shit, because we have to say shit, but don't overdo it. Just say a little bit and then go focus back to what you're doing, or like what you need to do.
To you guys, that's also advice for myself.
Yeah,
First and foremost, the reminder is for I, then it is for you. You know what I mean? So it's like, bro, like everybody, you know, I was being a little tongue in cheek. I was joking, but some of these comments are people are. Somebody said, "Shut up," bro is fuming. Bro said, "Shut up."
You
like,
pissed,
okay,
bro?
Bro is rooting for Egypt, and I was rooting for Egypt too. But it's like, bro, like you guys are just clowns. Like, people are really hell bent about this. Like, stop getting so mad about it. Like,
it's just a sport.
It's just corny to me.
Just a
like,
sport.
okay, sports are rigged. What did you think? Sports were fair? What did you think? Refs didn't get paid in sports?
Yeah, like bro, in football they always rigged football. And let's be honest, guys, this is why I say the same shit that Andrew Tate said. If sports are rigged, what about fucking politics, bro? Of course they're gonna rig that shit as well. Let's be honest. Like, come on.
I don't want to go like full conspiracy mode, but I would bet that sports are actually rigged to some degree.
Yeah, they are
Look,
rigged
gambling
to
is
a
bigger
lot
than it's
big
ever
degree,
been. Sports
honestly,
betting is bigger than it's ever been.
True.
So if there's ever a time where sports are corrupt, it's now.
Yeah.
So like, you see something and you're mad. I get it. Egypt was up and some foul calls were missed. Whatever. Like, I get it. Maybe let off a tweet here and there. But these is like writing death letters to Messi. Like, gang, you don't even.
Okay, you don't need to do that. That's stupid. That's fucking retarded. Why do that? You're wasting your time. That is fucking stupid. Go focus on your life and be better. Why do that? It's just stupid. It's actually so stupid. Like, I was pissed when I saw the fucking robbery of the game it was. I repost some stuff, but I don't do anything else apart from that. Like, for 5 minutes, I'm like reposting some things that are like like, let's be honest, it's true. And then I stop, and then I continue to do the things I need to do. Like, come on.
More than $10,000 to your name. He's over there writing a death letter to Messi. He's over there writing a love letter to Mohamed Salah, and it's like, okay, Mohamed Salah, okay, but you don't even have like $5,000. You stupid ass nigga. And some other guy, I forget his name, totally irrelevant, he responded and deleted his tweet. I think he did. I don't see it anymore. And he was like, show me $1 million or shut up. Okay, yeah, I could show you my brother's million. I don't have $1 million, but I'm worried about the right things. So what's your point exactly?
What's your point? Yeah.
Like, the point of the tweet is to show you, if you don't have money, stop concerning yourself with something that will never get you money. Unless you're betting on it, unless you're sports betting.
So let's say if you're betting, that's different.
Do coverage. If you make money on sports in like a legitimate way, that's not to you. But 99% of people just watch sports and then like get mad about it. How could you allow that to like ruin your day?
That's only why I don't watch football. The only time I watch football is when Portugal was playing. That's the only time. And that's pretty much it. And now that, I mean, we don't know officially, but this World Cup was supposed to be Ronaldo's last World Cup. So it's more likely that it's Ronaldo's last World Cup. And I'm telling you, I'm saying this already, I'm not going to watch Portugal ever. I'm not going to watch sports ever now. Because the whole reason why I watched Portugal is because of him. He carried us for so long, they gave us glory for so long. Why would I continue watching a Portugal that doesn't have the leader, doesn't have the player that showed us the light at the end of the tunnel? Like, bruh, I'm just not going to watch. Bro, we saw the team when Ronaldo pretty much didn't even touch the ball play against Spain, and it was a fucking disappointment. Why would I ever watch my country play without Big Boss himself, Cristiano Ronaldo? If they played like dog shit, when Ronaldo didn't even touch the ball, he was just on the camp. He was just inside the fucking stadium. In the field. I just wouldn't watch my country. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. For me, I've never seen a team that has the biggest potential ever be a disappointment that it was. I'm not going to watch a disappointment. I'm not going to watch. Simple as that. That's why if it's actually his last World Cup this year, I'm just not watching Portugal. People are going to say, but then you're not really Portuguese. No, I'm not. It's not that I'm not really Portuguese. When we struggled, Ronaldo was there. As soon as Ronaldo was in the fucking national team, we didn't miss World's qualifiers. Won Europe. We pretty much conquered Europe. 2 national leagues. He gave us presence, glory, and fucking representation of our country than any other player. Eusebio, close second. Of course, 100%. But Ronaldo is number 1. Let's be honest, bro. And this is why I say there's no point watching. There's no point watching, bro. There's really no point. This year was the year, in my opinion, that Portugal could have won and dominated everything. Our team decided to be retarded and slip up and lose, which they deserve to lose. They play like dog shit. And unfortunately, the Ronaldo that really wanted to play and it was like motivating them to fucking get the glory and win, he had to fall with them, unfortunately. Which, in my opinion, is fucking bullshit. But it is what it is. You can say something about it, but then you have to continue live. You have to continue what you need to do. You cannot let yourself be fucking focused only on that to the point where, like, you forget the things you have to do. Like, no. That's stupid.
The Knicks in the finals just recently, they won, but when they lost game 3, I think, or they lost one of the games, is at work like mad. I'm like, gang, are you really letting like a team full of professional athletes, grown-ass men who make a gazillion dollars more than you, like, affect your day? Like, you're here at work, you just clocked in, I watched you punch in. You should be mad about that. So it's like priorities, people.
There's no priorities. Like the priorities
so I tweeted
are so
that.
different.
It was a bit of rage bait, but people bid on it. It got, again, like I said, it only got 20K views, not that viral, but I was like, because I just tweet, you know, sometimes I just let off tweets and like, you don't think it's going to go viral. I check my phone and I'm like, everybody's seething in the replies. I'm like, okay, you're broke, you're stupid, you're broke. One or the other or both. So anyways, that was just really interesting to me.
True.
Really interesting. Said a lot about the people we share this planet with. No, I'm kidding. But it was just like, dude, you know, really didn't think it would be that deep. But
yeah. When it comes to football or soccer, like you all will say, which I don't like the fact that you all call it soccer because it makes no sense. How is it considered soccer if we play with our foot? In your football, your American football, you use your foot once to shoot the fucking ball and that's it. The rest is just hands. Your football is not football. I'm sorry. Let's be honest here. We have to be honest. Our football is football because we play all the time with our fucking foot. 90% of the game is foot. Or not even 90%. 99% of 99. Okay. I'd say 94% to 96% is foot. For me, football is our sport. Let's be honest. It's not American football. Come on.
Say that about soccer. Mind you, I'm going to go, hey, look, I LARP a little bit too. I'm going to go watch what game is it? England-Norway on Saturday? I'm going to go
I watched that, by the way. I watched that. A good game. Very, very, very intense and well-balanced game. I really liked that. It was a good game. I think Norway played significantly better offensively, but defensively, England was what the fuck, bro. When they were winning 2-1, they went immediately to defense. The whole team went to defense immediately. They were very hard to penetrate. It's very hard to penetrate the fucking defense. It's very hard.
With some friends, I'm gonna enjoy it, but when the game is over, then that game is over.
The game is over.
I am not going to like
pretty much it.
Loathe and cry and moan.
Same thing, yeah. It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. It's the same thing. The game is over. The game's over. We continue our lives. We might see some things that are true, and you're like, oh, that is true. But we continue doing the things we need to do. We don't just talk about it and cry about it and do this and then death threats to some players and shit. Like, no, that's stupid. Just game's over. You continue.
For the next God knows how many hours after the result is unfavorable to me.
Yeah.
Maybe you should try the same thing. Like, I didn't say don't watch sports. I'm just saying, like, gang, like, you're too invested. You know, priorities in the wrong place. So yeah, my first official rage bait. My first official.
Okay, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt that I got really pissed, like very, very pissed, when it comes to Portugal, Spain. But I say that because, like, the thing is this: I see potential. That's how I see. That's how I am. I don't know why, but I'm like this. I see potential, and I see that said person or multiple people that have the potential don't work hard to get what they deserve. It pisses me off because it's like you could be in an amazing position for yourself and you're giving everything up for stupidity. That's why, for example, in games, some games I get a bit pissed off because it's like the game is good to play, it's enjoyable, but the way you're taking care of it, it's fucking shit, and it's making the game shit because of it. That's why I get very pissed at it. I don't get to the point of tweeting or making a clip out of it. It's fucking stupid. I made a clip once about me being pissed the fact that Aram is fucking dog shit and it's like we have to play like sweats once out of like my 5 years of playing League of Legends, or like 6 or 7, some shit like that. It's a shit show, guys. Please don't know. But I've been playing the game for quite a while. It's like, fam, come on. Like, yes, you get mad in the moment, I understand. But after that, you need to calm down and move on and do things you need to do.
Rage bait. People also didn't like this as well. This is me and Sneeko. Me and Sneeko kicking it in the Uber. And I was saying, like, I want to live in a compound. You know, I was like, yo, we can live in a compound with the boys. So, let's see. I thought this was a reason. Whatever. They're going to say I'm copying Myron. I guess I am, but we'll listen to it.
In the War Room, drinking Johnny Walker.
I think, okay. I would love to live with, all right, they're going to clip this and say I'm gay. But I would love to live with like my close friends and not with like my wife. I'm on board with that. Because and that, even productivity, dude, stress. Bro, women are bred to like nag. Like they need a constant.
The Prophet ﷺ told us that on the day of
I agree with you,
Allah will
Riyadh.
say,
They nag a lot.
Attention, they're like.
It's true.
It's so fucking true.
Look,
bro, it's so fucking true, bro. It's so fucking true. It's like you're at peace doing your thing, and it's like they have to come here and annoy you, even if it's for something that they didn't need help to. They still would come and annoy the shit out of you because they need attention. It's like, fam, you clearly do not need my help for that. Why the fuck did you decide to come and ruin my peace? Like he's speaking facts, bro. He's speaking. It's so true.
I want to say this before the
They're
clip
not
continues.
allowed.
I really
It's
love women.
fucking
Like
Jesus.
women are amazing. They are our counterparts. We need them in
Like,
our lives.
yeah, that's the thing. We love them. We love them. We love them. It's not like we don't. We're not saying that we don't love them, but we have to understand the truth that women nag a lot. It is true because they want attention. Now, I don't hate them because of what I just said. I still love them. Still love them. But it's true. It's the same thing as us. Like we do, like we do male things to get female attention. Like it's the same thing. It's the same thing. But the difference is we get tired and we get annoyed. You don't, because women love the attention. We don't want to always give you the fucking attention. You need to understand that because there's priorities to things. And people are going to say, what do you mean priorities? Who's your woman? That's the point. Us going to work is so you can get money for the home, for the woman. Like, you need to understand this. Yeah, but people don't understand this shit. They're fucking retarded.
As a man, you will yearn. Wow. You will long for a relationship at some point. You can't just be alone forever. Like, I want a wife at some point. Like, having a girlfriend is not corny at all times. It's just like, okay, bro, are you really like that? Okay, I don't know how to word. Are you really enjoying your wife's company that much after 5 years? I feel like you're not. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest.
At a certain point,
I feel like
no.
after
Like, let's
5
be
years,
honest.
you know, your wife's talking and it's like,
You know, like you're just here. You're just like, all right, bro.
All right, bro.
I can't. You know, like I have female colleagues and, you know, some friends, and like sometimes they talk and I'm ears are bleeding.
Yeah, bro. Hey, bro, I understand you at 100%, bro. It's horrible. They just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And it's like, you're just saying shit to say shit so you can get my attention. It's like, what are you doing? It's so true. It's so fucking true.
And it's a familiarity thing. Like I want to be with the boys. I want to be with, because they just get me more than a girl will get me.
Yeah, and
then
man,
they hear that.
True. Our friends are niggas, or they know more about us than women. Let's be honest, bro. It's true.
They say you're gay like your brother.
It's
like,
nothing.
bro,
nothing about being gay,
bro
bro.
fell for the feminism trick. Like, okay, why are we demonizing hanging with other like-minded men? So
yeah, true.
It's like if you look, you
not all
look
women generally.
All of them gang, and then maybe in the beginning
So
they'll
nature.
make it seem like they're very, oh, I'm hands off, like I'm really not even, and then like
they're in competition with your time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the problem.
Couldn't have said it better.
That's the problem. They're always competition with our time, and it's like, no, we don't like that. We don't literally don't like it. That's why we prefer hanging out with our own group of friends and women. Like, I'm sorry, it's true.
They're gonna try to take you away from.
I know what you're saying there.
you get married, you're in the honeymoon phase, first 8 months, bliss, and after that, bro, for the rest of your life, you just want to kill yourself. Like,
I'm laughing at myself. Nah, no way.
that's what it is, bro. That's just true, bro. That's just true.
So you want to live in the war room drinking Johnny Walker with?
In the war room, Johnny Walker. Tristan Tate, war room, Johnny Walker.
Short shorts in the war room by yourself.
I don't know if I see myself having a compound.
Short shorts and.
Shout out to AK in the back. Yeah, again, God forbid, I just want to have, I just.
Yeah, but it's true. When you're with the boys, it's the best time of your life. When I'm with Dark, Tiago, Jojo in real life, or even here on Discord, it's the best time ever. We just joke around, we make jokes, we play games together, we react to stuff, we talk about the harsh truth, we do a bunch of shit, and it's actually always enjoyable to be with each other. As soon as a woman enters, it's just they immediately start knocking and fucking annoying everybody. It's like, fam, like, why are you here? It's true. It's fucking true. There's nothing better than being with the boys.
It's
true.
And
It's
they're
true.
demonizing me for that. So whatever. God forbid. God forbid. Nigga want to have a good time with the brothers. I got a chat in here. It says you should react to. Oh, Mr. Ferdinand says, ET Ethereum about to be back on sale. Okay. Thanks for the chat. N-word says you should react to. N-word. You should react to Sneeko versus Alex Jones debate. I saw that.
True. That was, I saw some clips. It was kind of funny, but I want to see now.
Dude, it was just like, what? Forget the debate. What was happening? Like, I'm seeing clips, and like Alex was going crazy. I swear to God, have you guys seen this? Dude, I'm gonna have to hang on. I know there's more news, but it's just like, dude, hold on. Hopefully you guys didn't see this so you can laugh with me.
Awesome, man. I didn't say anything about you.
I'm just being honest. I mean,
No, you're not. You're being rhetorical.
What do you want me to tell you? I'm your friend, like the Quran says, and then stab you in the back? Durka.
What the fuck?
Okay, get serious. The Quran does not say befriend somebody and then undermine them and stab them in the back. Like, I don't mean to make this theological. It just doesn't say that.
I'm not being mean to the Muslims. It's fun. Hey, how about I become a Shiite with you and we take swords and cut our heads and for 8 hours I just march you like
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Sneeko, I told you that shit's not aura. Did I not tell you? We don't condone the Shia niggas. Look, I'm not trying to do a Shia attack. I've done enough of that. But the whole and the chains on the back, yeah, no, that's not Islam. Okay,
That's not Islam, yeah.
I will never not say that. I will never fail to remind everybody of that. I don't want to attack Shias. Hey, look, they're the ones fighting right now. They're the ones fighting. To their credit, the Sunni countries are cucked, but gang, like, we're not condoning we're not condoning that. So you see, Alex is making light of that because that's how he views Islam. So these people don't make us look all that great. I'm just saying. If you're a Shia, no offense. Maybe you don't do that if you're a Shia. But that is a misrepresentation of Sunni fundamental Islam. That's a misrepresentation of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That is a misrepresentation. Say what you want about Islam, that's fine. That's just like not authentic in any Islamic tradition that has a credible chain of narration. Sorry, no Muslims are like actually doing this that follow the Sunnah. Argue with the books, argue with the scholars. Don't shoot the messenger.
That's wrong. Or I could be a megachurch Christian with Kenneth Copeland drinking my blood. I could be with Erica Kirk shooting fireworks off my ass and twerking. You want
He's still going.
me to do that? You want me to drink blood with Kenneth Copeland on a stage, fly around with like Louboutin
No, I mean,
shoes?
I get it. You got sects of Islam that are a little crazier than others, just like you got Christians, with rattlesnakes.
Yeah, so don't use the small
Yeah, that Kenneth Copeland guy is really freaky.
minority to demonize 2 billion people.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weasel from Connecticut, the mighty Mongol, Powerful, the amazing.
Dude, this chat is losing it, bro.
All powerful, sneaky.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Durka Muhammad.
Allahu Akbar!
You know, I saw the kick notification. I see Alex Jones versus Sneeko. So I'm like, okay, like, oh, this is gonna be intense. Gang, I see the clips. I'm like, okay, what was this exactly? Where was the debate at? I'm not seeing a debate. So this was hilarious. I suppose they're gonna talk tomorrow, and it seems like they were friendly towards the end, so that's good. Like, bro, what the fuck?
What the heck was going on? What the fuck was going on? Why put an ad in this funny moment? Are you kidding me? Fucking hell.
Slavery. The slaves, we take the women as sex slaves,
And inshallah, you become Abdul Alex Jones.
No, not Abdul.
What the fuck? What the fuck, bro? I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Slave of. No, it wouldn't be. Sneeko, no. You could do Abu Alex Jones. Abdul is only for one of Allah's names. Because Abdul means slave of. Yo, he's tripping. Dude, his mic is cutting out. Look at Sneeko's face. Dad, I swear to God, I'm not LARPing. Dude, what?
Take care, Sneeko. We'll see.
Okay. Take care, Sneeko. After he had a full-blown, I don't even know. Dude.
Take care, Sneeko. We'll see you.
Salam alaikum, Alex.
Live.com is where reality begins.
Salam alaikum, Alex.
Assalamu alaikum. Marry your cousin. It's so much fun.
You really have, like, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I just want to wear a nightgown. It's the style.
Yeah, kind of. What do you think Jesus wore? You keep doing this. How did Jesus dress?
Well, I don't like that about
you said
Jesus.
I follow a foreign religion.
I don't like that about Jesus. It's crazy. What?
Wait, Alex, where's Christianity from? Where's Christianity from? You said I follow a foreign religion. Where's it from?
It's from Africa, bro.
It's from the Abrahamic religion.
Oh.
Durka Muhammad Jihad.
And it comes
from
from
your Jewish
comes
supreme leaders. It comes from Abraham, who you were the bad son. You are the bad Islami. Bad Abraham say. You are not the chosen. No good, Sneaky. You are cursed, Sneaky. You are cursed to wear nightgown and marry cousin. Bye, Sneaky. I love you.
Hey, stop killing white kids. No more abortions, huh?
Dude, I agree.
No more abortions.
For it.
Leave Blair White alone. Leave that young boy, Blair White alone.
King of the snakes, Sneaky
Leave Blair White alone.
His name is a sneaky snake, oh snake. All right, we love you, Sneaky.
See you tomorrow. Salam alaikum.
Bye.
All right, I lost a couple IQ points watching that. That's good.
That's good. That's
this
funny.
Is like when the mic cuts out and he's just having a full-blown like seizure. I can't control myself. Like his stomach is killing me.
He's having a fucking breakdown. God damn, he's having a mental breakdown, bro. He's having a literal mental breakdown. There we go.
We'll see.
Another video.
We'll see. There's a lot to get into. The funeral for the
funeral.
Khamenei.
12 million people went to the funeral of the supreme leader. Holy shit, that's a lot. 12 million. That's a lot of people. What the fuck?
Allegedly 12 million people showed up to the funeral for the dead supreme leader. So what happened with U.S. media saying that nobody in the country liked the IRGC?
Like IRGC, yeah, nobody liked them, bro. Nobody likes them, bro. Nobody likes them.
Did you guys see this? I'll show you this really quickly, and then I'll give you a few more announcements before we get into all these other stories that I wanted to cover.
Nobody likes them. Holy, bro! What the fuck? That's so many people. Holy shit! I thought what happened in England with the rights was bad. It was like a lot of people, but this is like... It's a lot! Holy shit! This is actually insane. What the fuck? It's 4
Fox
times.
News is over there reporting. Everybody
Holy
in the country
fuck,
is so
bro.
happy the U.S. is bombing Iran. Everybody hates the supreme leader. I'm sorry, what's this?
Holy shit, bro.
Nigga. Are you kidding me? And there's like, look at this is a helicopter
and
view.
it keeps going.
And they're still
it
going.
Keeps going and it keeps
Not
going.
an inch of space anywhere in the streets. Sheer, just all people, humans.
Holy
You know, we
shit.
can fast forward. This is just one. Look at this. Unbelievable.
Holy shit.
Are you kidding me? And they said there was no rally around the flag effect. Yeah, and I told this to my
Holy
brother.
shit,
or,
it just keeps
I forget who I
going.
told, really. I've been having lapses in memory. But I said this on stream at some point. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't. You know, maybe a lot of people in the country did not like the IRGC.
Yeah, that is true, by the way. So a lot of people didn't like the IRGC, but they hate Israel more.
To that, I completely understand. I mean, they were and still are to some degree a brutal regime. They've killed so many Muslims inside of Iraq and Syria. Like, you know, people call me an IRGC spokesperson. Yeah, couldn't be further from that. Couldn't be farther from that. However, when you face an existential threat, even with an unfavorable, brutal regime, if it's the United States and Israel interlocking hands and attacking you and trying to destroy your existence and killing civilians and trying to overthrow the government, you might just actually straddle the line and like support the IRGC.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I mean, it's over and over. It's just endless U.S. and Israel aggression. Could you imagine anybody that was on the fence about supporting the IRGC after February 28th, when the United States started that war, all the way up until now, we still don't have a legitimate peace deal? Yeah, it's likely that people are going to sway in the direction of the government that happens to be, or the regime rather, that happens to be defending the land.
Defending the land, yeah.
And as a result, exploiting money out of the United States in regards to reparations and oil sanctions and $300 billion from the Gulf and controlling the Strait of Hormuz. And, you know, if the IRGC was unfavorable before the war, the United States and Israel just made them more likable to the Iranian base. That's just facts.
True.
And all of these people who are suffering from the Iranian diaspora, and look, like I said, I don't want to be completely insensitive to the fact that the IRGC is responsible for some brutal war crimes. I'm well aware. Okay, you're not red pilling me on that. But I mean, can you really argue with this?
Like I said, bro, like I fucking hate YouTube with a fucking passion. But look, bro. There's so many people. It goes all the way back there. It goes all the way back there. Holy shit. What the fuck? There's so many people.
Unbelievable. And, you know, the reason why this is so remarkable is because, like I said, and we always talked about Iran, and we've...
Holy shit. There's so many people. They're 100% rely on them for like 100%. They are 100% with the RGC. Like, oh, no doubt. No fucking doubt. Like, what the fuck? I never seen so many people in one place. Holy shit.
Spoken about Iran for 100+ days. Donald Trump started this war and he said the Iranian people want to be liberated. He said he's going to bomb Tehran.
Yeah, say that now about the 12 million people on the fucking streets. Holy shit.
And after he bombs Tehran, there's going to be this effect in the country where people are just going to organically overthrow the government and take back what's theirs. And there's going to be the Shah regime again, and it's going to be bliss. And that's not what happened, actually. Now there's 12 million plus people flooding the streets, celebrating or really commemorating the death of their supreme leader that you killed on day one of the war. And it just makes you think the United States put an even larger battery in the back of Iran than the one that had existed prior, before the United States actually ever directly struck Tehran or anywhere else in regards to maybe the 12-day war, Isfahan, Fordo, Natanz. But, you know, that's the situation in Iran. It just continues to get worse. And now as Iran, and look, we'll go over a few more things. I'm not going to get into the news just yet, but I'll tell you what we'll talk about. Now, Russia is allegedly facing a fuel crisis, and obviously Western media is going to propagate that up. They're going to make that far worse than it may actually be in Russia. But on TikTok in Russia and everything else, people are waiting in mile-long lines for fuel. And Russia is facing this fuel energy crisis as a result of Ukrainian strikes targeting critical Russian energy infrastructure. This has been the case for really the larger part of this last few months, or the last few weeks. At the end of June, Ukraine and Russia have been striking each other back and forth, and maybe some of you have seen that in the news. However, it's kind of been shoveled back and just forgotten about in the fog of all this Iran nonsense, as well as everything else that's happening here at home. But the situation is heating up considerably.
It's going
Ukraine
up.
and Russia. And Russia responded after Ukraine.
Russia is getting it's getting tired of this shit, to the point where they might be taking things seriously twice as much now, because they're getting to the point where they're actually tired of this shit, and they want this to be over and done with.
Aggressive and hitting in energy infrastructure in Moscow with some of its worst offensive since we've seen, or the worst that we've seen since 2022. Russia had hit Ukraine, really the capital Kiev, with over 400 drone strikes and 100 missile strikes, and allegedly that's the worst offensive that they've ever dealt to the Ukrainians since the war had started back in February of 2022, which has been ongoing for 4 years now, and it doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. And so they're still going tit for tat, but it seems like Ukraine is getting really aggressive. In regards to Russian expansion, it seems to have halted a little bit. It's not as far stretched or as aggressive as it was prior, and that's just because of the fact that it seems like now we're seeing a situation where an unstoppable force is meeting an immovable object. Obviously, Russian military is far greater than that of Ukraine's. They have more men, they have more manpower, they have more military capability, they have more drones, they have more missiles. But at the same time, Ukraine has gotten tons of Western backing. They're allied with the EU, they're allied with NATO, they're allied with the United States. And even though Trump has not been so hands-on recently, and actually the favorability for Trump in Ukraine is at an all-time low, they still have what's required to kind of defend themselves for the greater part of the next few months, until they run out of all of these munitions that they're hitting Russia with very hard. So that situation has been in a little bit of limbo. Everybody in the US media is saying Russia's losing badly and everything like that. I think it's a moment where Ukraine is rallying back, but
I'm gonna have to tell you guys, unfortunately, I don't have any more time, so after this video, it's probably the end of the stream. Just to let you guys be warned. When it comes to the harsh truth streams, when it comes for the first day, when I, of course, stream on the week, usually I don't have time. Unfortunately, I hate it. It sucks because I want to give you guys as much content as I can. But the first day I can't. I'm gonna give you guys as much as I can on the first day, but tomorrow I'm gonna give you a lot more content, of course.
I think it will be short-lived because at any time, Russia still is a nuclear threat.
It's a
Russia
nuclear threat,
still possesses the ability to escalate the conflict further than we've ever seen. And this is the real concern, and this has always been the concern with Ukraine and Russia and the United States being involved, is we're just going up this ladder, and as you go up the ladder of escalation in these conflicts, eventually you're going to have to exercise or get to the nuclear option. And that's been the fear in 2022 and 2023 when the conflict was ongoing and it was at its worst. Everybody was very concerned that this would turn into a nuclear disaster. And now we've got our hand tied in Iran. Our hands are tied with Jared Kushner and Stephen Witkoff and working out these negotiations in Qatar, in which the Iranian delegation refuses to talk directly to us, and they're talking to Qatar instead as a mediator. So there's a loss of communication there, despite the fact that in Geneva a few weeks ago, we had set up a direct phone line with Iran, and so that this wouldn't happen anymore. But Iran still refuses to exercise that option, allegedly, at least from what the news is telling us, and it seems like they're still using this mediating process, and it's because they're dragging their feet, because there is no real urgency from the Iranian delegation or Iran as a whole to end this war. I'm sure they would like it over at some point in the near future or distant future, but the desperation is not equal on their end in regards to Donald Trump. He's very concerned about ending this war, and that's because he may have to mobilize in Ukraine as well. And obviously he was just at a NATO meeting, and right before that NATO meeting was when Russia actually hit Kiev with those crazy strikes that we hadn't seen the likes of since 2022. So, you know, the situation in Ukraine and Russia is heating up a lot more than we have seen in the last few months. And of course, they've been going back and forth, but these are some of the more violent aggressions or violent escalations that we weren't expecting to get. And of course, we're all occupied in Iran. So what Trump is going to do there, I don't know, but he's in one of the worst positions that I think any president has been in the last 20 or 30 years since Clinton. So we'll see what he does with that. But we'll watch a video. We'll get into all of that. We can go over the annexation of Crimea in 2014. I'll give you guys the whole lore as to what's going on with Russia, why they ever attacked Ukraine, NATO expansion. Maybe we can even talk about the Warsaw Pact, the CSTO, which Belarus is a part of. We can talk about the Crimean Peninsula, how it's rich with oil and gas, which is partially why Russia ever annexed that peninsula in the first place. The overthrown leader, Viktor Yanukovych, who was aligned with Russia, and the Euromaidan protests that were fueled by the West. We'll get into
Okay,
all
by the way, I'm not saying anything here because I do not have a lot of information when it comes to what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. I knew some stuff, but not everything, so I'm being silent and understanding the information. Just to let you guys know. That's why I'm not reacting right now, because I want to listen and understand
that, and I'll give you the chronological timeline as to how we got to where we are now with Russia and Ukraine. And now the rhetoric has it's grown into Putin is in a corner, Putin is facing backlash from his people.
Which is not true.
The base in Russia wants the economy to flourish, but it can't because of this war, and the gas infrastructure is getting hit. So we'll see. We'll go into all of that. You got to be careful with U.S. sources because they're very anti-Russia, pro-Ukraine. We just want to get the clear picture without bias, and it can be difficult sometimes, but I aim to do that for you guys.
That's very true.
But we'll do all of that. I have a few chats here that I'll read, but we'll do that later. Because, like, is Russia-Ukraine that interesting? No. It's been happening for, like, 10 years. So, literally, I'm not even kidding. Like, 12 years it's been ongoing. So,
dry stack. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Again, when it comes to the harsh truth, I only have time to do 3 hours to 3.5, 4 hours maximum. It depends when I have a lot more time than other days. Then other times I do the let's talk about the harsh truth stream. But unfortunately I don't have time anymore. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to follow me on Kick. We're trying to reach 800 followers, so I'd appreciate it if you help me get that goal. We have another goal here on Kick, which is trying to get verified here on Kick. So I'd appreciate if you guys participate in the stream by watching the stream, talking in chat, or dropping a sub, so it could be one step closer towards our verification. For the people on YouTube, we do stream at the same time over there as well, so don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to reach 100 subs. We're currently at 96 subscribers, so I'd appreciate you guys if you help me reach the first goal. I do post additional content as well, so don't forget to enjoy all the content on all the platforms and follow me everywhere, because I would appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Peace.